evacuate. This is not a drill. Warning. 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 I'ma knock at your door before I hit you like King Kong. So hard it hurts to feel it touch so hard it burns. Isn't something you could learn, it's natural. And I might not feel that for you, but someday you'll find someone who sees you in a crowded room, sensational. Every time I dream of you, I see. It's the kind of thing that you can't unsee. I'm sorry. Every time I dream of you, I see. It's the kind of thing that you can't unsee. I'm sorry.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Blue Otter League Cold Season 9. We are here in the playoffs, and we are ready for another exciting best of 5. My name is Moose, joined you today by the one and only T.I. Romeo. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Moose?
I'm doing all right. Always excited to get into playoff action here in League of Legends. Always really fun to see players and teams really battle it out. Already casted a game that went, or a series that went to Game 5, and I expect to see a lot of the same action here today with Piltover Pokes going up against the literal monkeys. Just to clarify really quick, as we get into this game, first game was not streamed. Piltover taking that win is currently up 1 in the series. Literal Monkeys looking to even it out here in game 2 over on red side. Nautilus going to be the first pickup here for Piltover. J4 going to be locked in for Literal Monkeys.
Yeah, I think that Jarvan pickup is not too much of a surprise. We've been seeing Jarvan across play all season. Those slight nerfs they gave about a patch ago have really done nothing to slow that champion down. It's just one of those champions that is active throughout the entire game. We've seen Literal Monkeys pull it out before. You can expect a lot of action coming from that Jarvan early game. And then on the other side, the Nautilus is going to be a good engage champ. We're going to have to see what it's paired with, though.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Kaisa come into the meta here in this patch. The ability to just be able to move around and have somebody that can go in and provide the initiation tool for that killer instinct is definitely good. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something like the Kaisa or something else that could potentially capitalize on the CC that Nautilus can provide. Something like a Caitlyn, which is always on the horizon, or even a Zaya could come through to stop the Lovers duo getting picked up over there on the literal monkey side. The Rakan coming in with an opportunity to provide a lot of that mobility in the support role, a little bit of that CC with quickness and the just wide array of knockups and movements that Rakan's going to be able to provide is going to be responded to by the Viego. Opportunity for that reset champion to come into play here.
Yeah, definitely could be if they find a good way to open the fight, but they're not actually going to finish off that bot lane here. They lock in the Ornn top. That's a really safe pick. You have to imagine whatever ADC they end up picking up, that the Viego is going to try to help impact that lane alongside Nautilus. Because let's be real, that Ornn might play a little bit aggressive for 3 levels and then just sit there and wait to build those items.
Right, it's probably going to be the case there. I mean, it is more often than not, signaling to me in the top lane, you are looking to play the island. It's not normal for a team, especially on the blue side, to pick up the Ornn so early on in the draft. It is most likely, it's most commonly that R4 pickup going to be responded to, at the second phase of the draft. But Piltover wanting to have that available, so you've established yourselves a really good front line, and you're probably going to be able to find a good bottom lane and mid lane champion to get built up here. Although we are going to be seeing a lot of those mid lane champions getting banned out. Literal Monkeys can be taking away that Syndra. Piltover can be taking away that Yone.
That being said, the Mordekaiser picked up by Literal Monkeys. I actually really like that pick in the Ornn. I feel like that's one of the few champions that can do a lot of bullying into Ornn and kind of just force him off the wave. So I think that Mordekaiser pickup can do a lot if it's played effectively. And considering it's Literal Monkeys, I have no doubt that the #1 seed in the Ionia division probably will get a lot of action out of that Mordekaiser. But the Xayah banned away, the Anivia also banned away as we get into these last 4 picks.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, again, I'm gonna go harken back into over that the Ornn now going to get, like you said, gonna get a little bit of a counter here in the second game, not the first game, the second game of the series. So, looking to potentially see that maybe be a 1-1 here with Literal Monkeys being able to have that advantage in the top lane. The Anivia also going to get taken out here. So Literal Monkeys either going to have to pick the bottom lane or the mid lane blind. I do suspect that we're going to be seeing the bottom lane get picked up here, unless it's something that they're looking to pick up that is not a conventional pick. It's going to be the Sivir instead, looking to just stack on that movement speed and that mobility for the J4 and the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, I think that Sivir, can be a good pick. It's obviously something that's going to be really safe into that Nautilus, so I think that is kind of nice. It's going to probably force that Nautilus to either play really aggressive to try to bully that spell shield and follow it up by a hook. I imagine we'll be seeing a Hex Flash in that case. Otherwise, I think that Nautilus is probably going to have to roam to whatever mid laner Piltover Pikes is going to go for. Now, of course, the Jinx is picked in response. That's a champion that definitely farms heavily alongside Sivir and can do quite a bit of poke damage. So I think that's a pretty solid answer to the Sivir Rakan.
Neeko gonna be the mid lane pickup here. A lot of potential CC, a lot of opportunity to come in with that Pop Blossom and provide the the initiation for a fight that could give Jinx and Viego those resets. With Viego, with the Jinx, you are definitely looking for a reset composition. You want to be able to get an early kill in the team fight so that Jinx can pop off, so the Viego can pop off, get those resets on the passive and the Heartbreaker respectively. So we're looking to see the CC that they've been able to provide. The Nautilus, the Ornn, and the Neeko all going to have the opportunity to, provide that exceptional CC, that exceptional lockdown that the kit is able to bring into this one. To allow for that to happen, Literal Monkey's going to lock in the Victor in response. It's a relatively safe pickup, not necessarily something that is going to be a spicy R5 like you would know or potentially see, but just something that's looking to be able to combat this Neeko and deny them to get fed.
Yeah, certainly. I gotta be honest, I do really like both these comps, and like I'm not gonna lie, recently around this Eli, I have been seeing some comps that I haven't been too keen on, but I do like both these comps. I think there's some clear things you want. Obviously, like you were saying, Piltover pokes, they have a lot of lockdown, and they're a team where if you can get that one kill, if you can start the resets going, get Jinx ascended, there's a very good chance at you steamrolling whatever team fight you initiate, as long as you can find that initial pick. Meanwhile, on the other side, Literal Monkeys feel like they have, if Jarvan can get a nice Cataclysm going, Rakan can get a big knockup as well. You have Sivir, who's going to be able to ricochet through a bunch of them. You have Victor, who the Chaos Storm inside of the Cataclysm almost takes up the whole thing. Will do a ton of damage if you can lock them down in that singular area. And then, of course, that Mordekaiser can be a really interesting piece to the team when it comes to that Death Realm. If they're worried about maybe Viego getting a reset or something, you have that Mordekaiser, bring him to the Death Realm. He can't do anything anymore. Jinx is about to get excited. You ult the Jinx. She can't really do anything for a short period of time. And if you're worried about the Jinx kill and the Mordekaiser, you pick up that stopwatch and sit in there with her so she can't do any damage to your team. It feels like Piltover Pokes are going to be relying a lot on that Jinx and Viego. And if Mordekaiser is able to find a spot in fights where they can take him out and then rely on that Cataclysm to do a ton of damage to the rest of Piltover Pokes, you can definitely see Literal Monkeys finding some good venues in these team fights.
I think that's kind of what they're looking for here. I want to see Literal Monkeys be able to find a way to capitalize on the lack of mobility that Jinx has pretty effectively. You do have the opportunity to just put her in that pseudo washing machine with the Cataclysm. The Victor can come in and just create a mathematical nightmare that Jinx cannot get out of with the amount of damage that a mid to late game Victor can come in or can bring into play here. You've also got a little bit earlier scaling on the Sivir and the Victor. Are going to be able to have a little bit of an earlier advantage spike in the mid game comparatively to the Jinx Nico. However, if you do get to the late game, or if Jinx is able to get fed in the early game, you pick up a lot of those early kills, you're going to be seeing that Jinx going to be able to outdamage that Sivir more often than not. So I'm excited to see what both these teams are going to bring to the table. We are about ready to get into the spectator delay, Romeo. So before we do that, I gotta let you know that I've made a slight adjustment to the way that I predict my Dragon Soul and Rift in League of Legends here for the remainder of the playoffs. And we're gonna be playing a little bit of a game here for the remainder of this best of 5. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna pick a dragon that you think the Dragon Soul and Rift is gonna be, then I'll pick one, then you'll pick one, then I'll pick one, and you'll pick one. And we'll each have 3 dragons, giving us a 50% chance to be the correct Dragon Soul and Rift. Make sense?
All right, so one of us is bound to be right, is what I'm hearing.
That is the idea. That is the guarantee.
The guarantee. I see what you did there. I see you. But I think there's an easy first pick to make. You know what it's gonna be?
I have no clue.
The greatest soul in League of Legends history. It's got to be the Cloud Soul. It's got to. There's a Jinx.
Oh.
There's a Sivir. People gonna run fast. It's got to be that Cloud Soul.
No way, no way. It's definitely going to be an Infernal Soul. I've been seeing it pop up all week long.
Wow, I mean, the thing is, you want that flash, but let's be honest, League doesn't like to give us that flash. So, you gotta think Sensical, and the only other Sensical Drake to pick here is the Chemtech Drake. That Drake is across every game on the Rift. I swear, it's not actually a 16% chance. That Drake's got like double it, so I gotta be a Chemtech.
No way. It's Hextech all the way, baby. Hextech for sure. What do you think the last Drake is going to be on your side?
All right. So it's either Ocean or Mountain. And to be honest, there's already a Mountain of the Man in that top lane. So I got to say it's going to be the Mountain Drake.
Alrighty. That leaves me with Ocean. Chat, let me know what you guys think the Dragon Soul and Rift is going to be here for this game. Second game of the series. Piltover up 1-0, moving into game 2. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
Will the world pass by if I can't hold on? What should I do when I don't feel strong? I just want to be here for now. What if I let go and just lose control? How do I find out what means the most? I just want to be here for now. What do I do? How do I stay here? Gotta find you before When I slow down, I wonder if I'll be stumbling around waiting for the end. If our sky doesn't have a limit, then there won't need to be a finish. I wanna be in the life I'm living. Maybe I'm already winning. Will the world pass by if I can't hold on? What should I do when I don't feel strong? I just wanna be here for now. What if I let go and just lose control? How do I find out what means the most? I just wanna be here for now. What do I do? How do I stay here? Gotta find you before it all disappears. What do I do?
Welcome back, everybody, to Blue Water League Gold Season 9. Ready to jump in to Game 2 of this Best of 5 series. My name is Moose, joined here today by the one and only Romeo. We've also got Pop-Tart behind the scenes, being our fantastic producer, making sure that things are running smoothly behind the scenes. Chat, I see there are a bunch of you in there. Can I get some thank you Pop-Tarts in the chat? Can I get a macro telling us how much amazing work Pop-Tart does week in and week out? If you guys could do that for me, that would be great.
Yeah, Pop-Tart doesn't even just produce here. She produces pretty well across the majority of the Blue Otter leagues, I believe. I've definitely seen her produce the Masters. I've seen her produce Plat. Seen her produce here. I have to imagine at some point she's produced IBS alongside Caddy. So, like, she is completely goated when it comes to producing here at BOL. I've also worked with her on some other productions in CP. So, like, one of the better producers out there, I gotta say.
One of the better producers. As we move into this game, they're gonna have to, Pop-Tart's gonna have to be moving around the map because there's gonna be a lot of action, especially here in the early stages of the game. Opportunity for Zoomer on this J4 to get some early ganks going on. Going to have the early advantage here against the Viego in the lane department. Already looking to potentially go for a top or mid lane gank. We'll see what pathing they decide to go for. Looking at the rest of the summoner spells, interesting to see the double exhaust coming out from Lineria and this and Naked Cowboys on the Rakan, both looking to be able to use that utility to slow down and stop some of the damage output from these ADCs.
You call it exhaust. I think he just calls it the Ram Ranch to go alongside the pizza. I think it works perfectly on the Rakan, but you have to imagine that does deter a lot more of the fighting that's going to happen in this bot lane, right? Like, if the Rakan goes in, you just can exhaust the J4 or the Sivir if they're alongside for the fight. If the Nautilus goes in, you just exhaust the Jinx or the Viego alongside the fight. You have to imagine that's going to deter a lot of the fighting in that bot lane. And you even see both these junglers are pathing towards that top side, towards the Ornn and the Mordekaiser in these early levels. However, as this game progresses, they're not really going to be able to continue to do that, considering once Mordekaiser gets Death Realm and once Ornn gets that Call of the Forge God, it makes ganking that top lane a lot harder for both Zoomer and Nikolai.
And, in this game, and potentially already seeing Piltover take game 1, we're going to look to see if they can keep that momentum going. Going up 2-0 in a series that is a best of 5 is definitely a good thing to do. Obviously, it's a good thing to do. It puts you only one game away from completely winning out in the series, and it gives you a lot of comfort moving into a potential game 4 and game 5 because you will have side selection. It all comes down to the early game, making sure you get those early advantages. Cactus Thief does have the Ignite, could potentially go for a play here in the mid lane. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Nikolai is going to look to go for a play, going to force the flash at a Chinese spy.
Yeah, that's a big flash to force out, especially with both junglers up there. It seems like there's an engagement mid here, though. First blood picked up by Cactus Thief. And meanwhile, on the top side, Ornn going to escape with their life. That is a big play in the mid lane, a big injection of gold into the Piltover Pikes.
And a big misplay from Zoomer as well. Failed flash to not secure that kill. That is the power of that Ignite coming in from Cactus Thief on this Neeko. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Exhaust going to get played by Cowboys here against Lamb. Not going to get any effectiveness out of that, though. So Piltover having a pretty solid early game, both in terms of Summoner Spell advantage as well as gold.
And what you have to wonder is, does this mean Nikolai's going to want to back and maybe look for something in the bot lane, trying to burn some flashes, while Naked Cowboys' Exhaust is down, right? It could be something to look for. It's still a hard lane to gank, of course, with Silver, but there's an engagement.
Going to be able to come through, but that's going to be the dredge line landing in on to Antion. The Exhaust is going to come through as well from Lyneria. Can they finish the job? Not quite yet. Lamb's going to be able to get into a safe position. Will deal a little bit more damage, but it results in trade going towards Literal Monkeys. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, a big minion wave going up against Cactus Thief, going to deny the opportunity to be able to go for that kill. Meanwhile, a nice root going to land onto Cowboys. Lamb is going to be forced to flash out of the way. Antion wants this, and Antion's going to get it. Lamb will fall, making an even kill game. Literal Monkeys now up by 100 gold.
And what an incredible fight in that bot lane from Literal Monkeys. But here, another Viego is here to clean up.
Apparently, it's going to be a play-by-play night today as Nikolai is looking to be able to come through. Can they clean up? No mana on Naked Cowboys, but not enough damage. Antion will pick up another kill here, giving Literal Monkeys almost 1,000 gold lead.
And that's gotta hurt if you're Lamb and I can't speak. Lirania, that's gotta hurt pretty bad, knowing that Silver just went from 1-0 to 2-0. They're also going to pick up that Ocean Drake, it looks like, if they can burn it quick enough. Then that Ocean Drake can do a lot, especially in a Jinx Silver lane. It's a lot of poke damage to start those fights. You're going to be getting the healing coming through from that Ocean Dragon. It's one of the better laning phase dragons, but of course, it's one of the dragons I picked, so not great for the soul race.
No, but, I've seen it happen before, especially, in the playoffs. Plenty of, not in the playoffs, but just in a game in general, I've seen players and casters pick, all 3 dragons on their side. It's like a little bonus game. They're just showing how much their predictions are accurate. But regardless of that, dragon is going to be taken by Literal Monkeys. That's the power of your jungler being, or the opponent jungler being dead. Zoomer going to be able to pick that up. Antion also with a very delayed back. Will they be able to pick up an extra dagger along with that Noon Quiver? A little bit of punishment on that, though, with Lamb being able to pick up a turret plate there in the bottom lane.
But now it's going to be a rough laning phase for them as we continue. That Noon Quiver is such a big spike for an ADC. And to be able to come back off your first back with that ready to go. Sure, they have a bounty, and Lamb and Lirania, I cannot pronounce that name, are going to be looking to pick up that bounty as soon as they can. But until then, it's just going to be so hard to take a fight without Nikolai.
Yeah, let's see what they'll be able to do and what the next step is here for this Nautilus Jinx combo. They still have a lot of threat in the lane. If you are able to land a good dredge line, you can get the chompers, get the root, guaranteed zap pressure as well, and an opportunity to be able to pick up a play there. Naked Cowboy's going to go in for the knockup. Not going to be able to land that on the Lamb. Meanwhile, the dredge line will come through onto Antion. No spell shield quite yet. Nikolai is going to get rooted. Nice spell shield to stop the zap. Another knockup from Cowboys. Going to stop Lyneria from being able to move forward. The dredge line will not land. That's going to be a lot of damage on Antion. Shut down. Nikolai's going to be able to pick up that kill. Meanwhile, Zoomer unable to land the flag and drag, going to mean that they're going to be able to get out. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, a lot of damage on the Pyramid Boy. The Ignite's going to come through. Flash not needed. Cactus Thief will pick up their second kill.
A lot of kills going around the table. It was a big shutdown for Nikolai, but another fight still breaking out.
Yeah, Zoomer and Naked Cowboys wanting to go into a 3v2 situation that is not going to work out for them. Nikolai will take the Recon Soul and is going to pick up a lot of damage onto Zoomer. Not quite enough to finish the job, but that's going to put Piltover up by 1,000 gold again.
Yeah, unfortunately, they forgot the basic rule of mathematics, and that's that 3 is a bigger number than 2, and because of that, they pay the price, that being 19 Naked Cowboys' life. It's looking pretty strong right now for Piltover Pikes. A big turnover in gold. Still going to be a little bit rough in that bot lane. Silver does, of course, still have 2 kills, But once Jinx takes this back, they got a plating, they have a couple assists in the tank, and now they have a jungler who's going to be able to run wild through this map. They're definitely going to be able to get the advantage anytime they show up to the same lane as Zoomer. You have to imagine Nikolai and both Cactus as well are feeling pretty good, especially if Cactus is able to find an angle to start roaming and helping those side lanes.
Pretty sure Chinese Spy is also feeling pretty good here on this Mordekaiser, up 41 CS against Big John. That's a pretty substantial number. And only with the Winged Steel Carrier plate, pardon me.
I'm rubbing off on you.
Yeah, I'm falling apart over here. But anyway, one item comparatively to a Blasting Wand and an Amplifying Tome here from Chinese Spy. A 40 CS advantage. If we take a look at the gold, that's going to equate to a pretty substantial lead there in the top lane. And that's good news for Literal Monkeys. An opportunity to be able to build up that pressure in the side lanes. It's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, it's about a 700 gold lead for the Mordekaiser. In the bot lane, we have about the same onto the Sivir. But when you look at the mid and jungle, it's about 1,000 for each of them on the side of Piltover Pikes. And that's where all the gold is. But here, a Death Realm coming out. Call of the Forge God misses. Oh,
yeah,
God.
Not going to be able to get it inside the Death Realm there. Chinese Spy is now going to see that Nikolai is there. Not the play that I was expecting. Chinese Spy is going to go back in. Going to be able to get the drag away from Nikolai. But Pyramid Boy will find the laser. Will pick up John inside the brush. This game is a bit of a clown fiesta right now with a lot of, some errors, I would think, coming in from both sides. But at the end of the day, Literal Monkey's happy with that. They're going to go back into the lead with about 700 gold.
I think it's not only that there's errors happening from both sides, because errors are bound to happen in any game you watch. But the thing is, both these teams have done an amazing job at capitalizing on every error that has really occurred. And that's something you don't often see. But here in these playoffs against two very elite teams, they're noticing these mistakes. They're making sure to capitalize on it. It's coming across as a very, very even game. Of course, Rift Herald picked up from Zoomer. It looks like it might just be going straight to this mid lane to get them ready for this dragon.
Yep, dragon spawning in 4 seconds. It's going to be that Mountain Drake coming through. Nira's going to be okay. Antion's going to be able to get a little bit of damage there, but the dragon is going to be potentially started by Literal Monkeys. Nope, they are going to be seen on that ward and are going to go in against Lynira and Lamb. That's going to be a dredge line landing into Lynira. That's going to be the sacrificial Lamb here to keep Lamb alive. Heal to come through. Lynira's going to get exhausted, and the Cataclysm to finish the job. Zoomer, however, going to get hit by the turret shots, the Super Mega Death Rocket, and the Heartbreaker, which will mean that Nikolai's going to be able to pick that one up. Another Heartbreaker on Antion to get the slow. Can they finish the job? No, they cannot. Another close shave with death. Antion going to be able to escape.
It's a 1-for-1 trade, but that trade also comes at the cost of the Mountain Drake. It's going to be the first Drake for the side of Piltover Pikes, and it's pretty well uncontestable from Literal Monkeys at the moment. And that Mountain Drake could do a lot as we advance through the game, especially on the champions like Ornn and Nautilus. And honestly, that fight looks pretty strong for Monkeys at first. Of course, Rakan getting a big charm off that hook. But once Nico and Viego showed up, it was all over for them. There was really no fighting back. And because of that, we see Piltover Pikes being able to get the ending of it, being able to get a little bit of a cleanup, get that dragon. And it's completely tied up across the board 12 minutes into the match.
Let's go. It's a Hextech Drake. I predicted it correctly this time. I love it. I love it. Hextech Soul and Hextech Drake going to give the Hex Gates as well. A lot of mobility options now on the map. Of course, Hextech Soul, probably one of the strongest in the game. The innate static shiv, the slow that it provides, as well as the stats, is going to be a top tier prize for whatever team wants to go for them. Speaking of prizes, Zoomer still has that Rift Herald, going to be able to pop it there in the bottom lane, looking to be able to get first turret down, and they will be able to. Nikolai's going to be in the area as the depth charge is going to be landed in onto Zoomer, going to be able to get the stun. Will they be able to finish the job? Not going to be able to land the Super Mega Death Rocket, but it's going to be Cactus Thief going to go for the Pop Blossom in the mid lane. The Ignite is going to come through once again. Pyramid Boy is low, and Cactus Thief is going to go on a killing spree, just getting fed off of Pyramid Boy. Bottom lane matchup didn't really result in any kills. Just a lot of ultimates and summoner spells used.
Yeah, but being able to pick up that kill mid lane, Cactus Thief has been so consistent this match, and they're looking to be one of the heroes or the side of Piltover Pokes. They have been just doing a phenomenal job keeping that Pyramid Boy at bay. And that's one of those things where not only are you coming out of lane with a fed Nico, but on top of that, Victor's gonna have a really tough time ever getting online in this game because of the nature of the champion, right? He wants to scale. He wants to come out of lane even. He wants to get those augments for his laser. And when you're just constantly being poked back, getting picked off from Cactus Thief, you're not in lane long enough to be picking up that gold, to be picking up those augments. And because of that, it's going to take him maybe double the time to really be of value in these fights.
And it's also unfortunate that it was the counter pick that Literal Monkeys had there in the bottom lane. They said, hey, we can pick whatever mid lane we want. Let's go for this Victor. And it hasn't really bore fruit. It's going to give Cactus Thief a lot of advantage here as we move into the mid game. Nikolai going to get hit by that exhaust, though. Heartbreaker not available and is going to get shut down. Meanwhile, the Pop Blossom going to drop a lot of damage. Naked Cowboy's low. Antion low. Cactus Thief is going to get shut down. Caster's Curse against the Nico. And Chinese Spy will pick up their first kill of the game.
But despite the deaths that just occurred in the mid lane for Piltover Pikes, you do notice just how strong Cactus Thief is, especially when that Cataclysm goes out. If any of the teammates of MIT Zoomer are caught in that Cataclysm, it's just one pop block away from stunning half their team and being able to pick them off with both a ton of damage and a ton of CC from the Nico.
See what Big John can do here. Going to be able to stop back from Antion. Got Lamb and Lynira in the mid lane trying to be able to get that mid tier 1 tower down. Only structure down right now is in the bottom lane, taken away from that Rift Herald. And take a look at the top lane. Chinese Spy going to be in the Death Realm against Big John, is staying overly aggressive here and might actually die for their efforts. Nice flash away from the Call of the Forge God as Big John is going to try to go in, going to be able to land the knockup. It's going to be the followed up CC from Nikolai, and good guy Big John giving the 300 gold over to Nikolai himself.
And it just feels like Nikolai has been all over the map this game. It started off a little bit slow for him, but after he passed that 6-7 minute mark, he has been everywhere. He has been showing up to every team fight, really making it in his favor. And it's just been an incredible play from him. He has opted to go the Divine Sunderer route on that Viego, and to have it so early and just being able to be across this map has been really strong for him. But now you have to question how this drag fight's going to go for Piltover Pikes. Despite having the kill advantage, they are still down about 2,000 gold because of that first turret that was taken by Zoomer in the bot lane.
Yeah, up by about 2,000 gold like you were talking about. Literal Monkeys feeling good in the gold department and feeling good in terms of their Sivir. Antion going to have that Kraken Slayer, will be even up against Lamb, and as I was talking about in the draft, gonna have a little bit of an earlier power spike against the Jinx, but we are gonna get a team fight in earnest here. Quickness gonna get dropped on Lynira, and that's a nice depth charge onto multiple members of Literal Monkeys. Cowboy's trying to come through, he's not gonna be able to land the quickness on Astral. The flash is gonna come in to get out of that one. Cataclysm though, no follow-up damage from Literal Monkeys, as the Paw Blossom is gonna come in from Cactus Thief, gonna be able to land the knockup from the stolen soul of the J4. Nikolai gonna secure that double kill for Cactus Thief, but it's gonna be returned by Literal Monkeys. Gonna be a double kill for Antion. Pyramid Boy's gonna be low. Cactus Thief will run away. Lamb remains, and it is a 3-for-2 in favor of Literal Monkeys.
And you know what, Moose? That fight scares me for Piltover Pikes, because although, yeah, the Jarvan was able to get into that backline and hit the Cataclysm, it felt like their team was a little bit disjointed in that mess of the team fight. Meanwhile, you could kind of see like a front-to-back style looking for those resets from Nikolai, from Lamb, from the entirety of Piltover Pikes, and still, they weren't really able to get a whole lot done because of just how far ahead that Silver is. And now, off that fight, Victor was able to pick a kill, get a couple of assists, get his Leanders, get his Source Shoes, and now he's ready to roll as well. So the future for these team fights are going to be really rough, and it shows if that team fight only finds a kill around the middle to late stages of the fight, it's still very tough for Jink and Viego to play.
Cactus Thief gonna try to come in with a Pop Blossom! Stun onto 3 members of Literal Monkeys as Nikolai gonna be able to come in with the souls. The resets are here, and the Piltover Pikes gonna come in with 4 members. Antion's gonna be shut down. That gold's gonna go over to Lynira, but 4 kills for Piltover. They'll stop the dragon stacking from Monkeys, and they'll even up the gold count.
Yeah, so remember how I was saying I was a little worried if they couldn't find a reset? Well, When you open the fight with an immediate reset, Jinx automatically is excited, and then you just run through their whole team. You make sure that the caster is completely incorrect about what he's saying. But no, that was an absolutely beautiful bite from the Piltover Pikes. They found the lowest health target. Viego hopped directly on them. Jinx got excited, and from there, Ornn was just bodying every member of Literal Monkey so that the team could get away. But now Ornn being ran down from that Chaos Storm.
And that's the unfortunate nature of being underfed. Big John is gonna survive that 1v1 as the pop-up is gonna be dropped from Cactus Thief. Zoomer is dead, and it feels like Lamb and Cactus Thief are just carrying this game with all the damage that they bring out. Nikolai is gonna pick up the third kill to make it a 3-0 Rift Herald going over to Piltover.
Yeah, they're getting objective after objective after objective here. They're getting kill after kill after kill. And now they're the ones who are going to have that 2k gold gap as the Baron spawning in 20 seconds. They have a big rift. They definitely can tear apart the map whichever way they choose. Whether they want to drop it at a side lane and split push with it, maybe while threatening Baron. Whether they want to wait till they win a team fight and maybe try to break into the base of Literal Monkeys. They have a lot of options that they are able to run with as we advance in this game, but it's 16-9 for them. The Viego getting really close to that Bork. Nico feeling pretty strong as well. They're ready to pick up that. They have the stopwatch. They're ready to pick up the. Oh, I'm blanking right now. Oh my god. They're ready to pick up the Zanya's Hourglass the second they use that stopwatch. So they're feeling pretty big. Jinx is coming back with a rapid fire cannon. Probably looking to pick up IE next item. So they are getting really close to being unkillable. On top of that, they've identified just how much magic damage is on the side of Literal Monkeys and how much CC, and they pretty well universally have Merc Treads across their team. Force of Nature, first item on the Ornn. He's pretty much unkillable unless the Sivir is able to free hit him for a long period of time, but you can't imagine that's really going to be happening either.
5-1-7 on Cactus Thief. Rift Herald's gonna get summoned in the mid lane. His Cataclysm gonna get dropped. Don't like that play. Zoomer is just gonna keep Big John occupied for a little while as 3 members of Literal Monkeys are gonna go into the top side of the rift to take him down. It's gonna be a bottom tier 1 tower going down here for Literal Monkeys as Piltover continues to escort it now towards the tier 2 tower. Gonna be able to deal a lot of damage on the Chinese Spy as they're gonna be forced to flash away from the Pop Blossom. Maybe not enough damage to finish the turret. Yes, it is. Nicely done from Piltover, as they might even be able to pick up a kill here. They will pick up a kill. Nikolai will get their 7th of the game and will walk away as Shelly is going to go for another headbutt. Do they get it? They
hits the
do.
turret.
That's big.
That is big. People don't always realize how big that extra crash can be, but to have that crash on the T3 turret means if they send anyone to that side lane to threaten that turret, it needs to be defended, or they're probably going to lose an inhib. And this late into the game, especially with Baron up, with the next dragon coming up, that inhib could be huge, especially if they pick up this next dragon and then find that inhib. It's going to be an inhib threatening soul point. If they get Mountain Soul, I mean, Ornn's already so tanky that an Ornn with Mountain Soul this game is probably one of the scariest things that can happen to Literal Monkeys.
Zanya's Hourglass going to be completed there for Cactus Thief. Rapid Fire Cannon. Gonna be the second item for Lamb. Not going to go for an Infinity Edge. A little bit of a more thriftier build. And considering how effective Lamb has been and how much kill participation they have, I'm kind of surprised that they decided to go with the RFC instead of something like an Infinity Edge second item. Regardless of that, they will have that item advantage for this dragon that is spawning in 40 seconds unless Antion was able to pick up enough gold. Going to be unable to back, which means that it will be an item advantage for Lamb moving into this dragon fight.
And you got a question, do you take this dragon fight with the item advantage of Lamb, or do you maybe just drop it? If they really wanted to drop it right now and run straight to the Baron Pit, they might be able to try to at least start an objective, trade objectives, or at the very least, sit there, act like they're trading objectives, and then when Piltover inevitably walk up, try to find that pick, open up a team fight in a strong way. However, I think fighting this dragon for them right now could just be complete suicide.
It's an even amount of gold. You know, it's only about a 3,000 gold advantage here for Piltover. Monkeys could potentially find it. If they get a good Cataclysm, it could be the difference maker here in this fight, as Zoomer's going to be targeted by a little bit of damage, going to be able to avoid the root from Cactus Thief. But no river control from Literal Monkeys. No warding in the area either means that if they are going to go in, it's going to be going in blind. They decide against it and will move towards the mid lane, looking to be able to get some sort of response here, which they will. Mid tier 1 tower is going to go down, and the rest of Literal Monkeys are looking to be able to escape. They will with their lives.
Yes, they do certainly get out of that. I completely forgot that it's Hextech Soul and the Mountain Dragon is just a placeholder, which honestly, again, is really scary on the Jinx, right? They're one dragon away from a Jinx Viego combo with Hextech Soul, and that's something you really don't want to have to deal with. That slow is going to be so bad, especially for champions like Victor, who already don't have a lot of mobility, right? If you get that slow from that Hextech Dragon onto that Victor, it's going to be such a difficult fight for him to play in any scenario. On top of that, slower Silver makes it really hard for her to play. Probably going to have to burn that ultimate to really do anything. It's coming to a point where it feels like Literal Monkeys are in a rough chokehold, but here we go. Another engagement in this top side.
Big John is going to be flashing out of that Cataclysm, and the quickness is going to come through here from Naked Cowboys. The knockup's going to come in, and Nikolai just going to easily take down the Rakan. Going to be a rampage for Viego here with a power play for another 30 seconds. Piltover at the advantage.
Yeah, and I think you see them rocking up. They're walking up to that top lane, that mid lane, that river. We might see them potentially go for the threatening Baron while Naked Cowboys is going to respond, or maybe look for another pick before they do it. But you can feel them getting ready to make some action happen, to really find a way to extend this little bit of a lead they have going. However, I think it also makes sense for them to just be content, wait for this next dragon, and really play hard for Soul, especially with Jinx. It looks like she's going to try to pick up that LDR shortly, really putting the IE on her hold. I've seen this happen a few times. How do you feel about that, Moose? How do you feel about waiting to pick up IE for 4th or 5th item?
I think that in certain situations, it's fine, especially if you're feeling like you're behind and you need to be able to get that second item quickly. It's a decent tool to be able to potentially get that item advantage and to be able to go ahead. Personally, I would have picked up the Infinity Edge 3rd here in this situation, because if you look at the builds, I would much rather have Antions at this point, the Infinity Edge Kraken Slayer going towards that Phantom Dancer. It's a little bit more of an expensive build, a more premier build, but that Infinity Edge just providing so much extra damage that Antion can put that out a little bit more consistently here. Now, if Lamb is going to be able to find a way to get the resets, this is a negligible point. Like, if they're going to be able to get the resets on and get that extra attack speed, fine, perfect. They're going to be able to outdamage Antion, but it is going to all boil down to whether or not they're going to be able to do that. And so far, they have been able to execute upon that very well. That's the power of having a really good front line with Big John on that Ornn and Lynira on that Nautilus. You're usually relatively safe.
Oh, but here another engagement gonna go. They actually got completely baited from that Nico clone. Not gonna be looking for that pick. But yeah, you're completely right. Big Bad John has really just felt like that. Big Bad John, he's able to tank a mountain, but here he's a little bit stuck.
Let's see if he's going to be able to get the call of the Forge God. He does not get the knock up, and he's going to go down. Cactus Thief is going to get the stun. Obliterating Naked Cowboys is going to go golden, trying to be able to flash out of the way, and will be able to flash. Survives, avoids the laser, and now Lamb is looking to be able to go for the resets. It's a triple kill for the Jinx. Chinese Spy is all that remains. Not going to be able to get out of this one. It will be an ace for Piltover, even giving the flash away as well. Lamb with a quadra kill and Piltover with the ace.
Yeah, that fight started off rough for them. Started off really well for Literal Monkeys, but the second that Jinx had those energized attacks running, the extra damage range to be able to start the fight from a little bit further back, and we just seen how much damage that fed Nikolai, that fed Jinx was doing, and also to mention Cactus Thief completely bursted that Naked Cowboys straight to zero, straight back to the farm, straight back to Ram Ranch. They're gonna pick up that Baron, and they're going to their next move, straight to that Dragon Pit, straight to where their Hextech Soul lies, and this puts Literal Monkeys into one hell of a position. They have to fight this dragon. They can't risk losing Hextech Soul, but on the same chance, there's not a lot of hope to win this fight. They're down 6k gold. They need to find a pick, but they're the ones who are going to get picked here as Naked Cowboys walk straight into the loving arms of Nikolai.
That's going to be now a legendary champion on Piltover. Nikolai's going to go unstoppable. Lamb's going to go legendary. Lynira's even going to get on the action as well, taking down Zoomer. And it feels like Literal Monkeys have completely collapsed here in this game. Not really much of an option to go for the dragon. Piltover now doing whatever they want, getting whatever they want, and continuing to have success.
They certainly are, and this Baron play is going to be going to this mid lane. Meanwhile, Nico and there it is, the Hextech Soul completely claimed by Piltover Pikes. That is a huge soul to have. Of course, 6-minute timer on Elder, but I don't even know if we will get that far. Jinx getting excited off the turrets, and they're going to continue running down this lane. Meanwhile, on the side lanes, you have Viego and Nico getting ready to continue pushing. And right again, Naked Cowboys and Victor goes down.
Yeah, that's going to be 2 down now again from Literal Monkeys. Not going to be able to get the knock up of the call. The Forge God, John, going to be in the Death Realm. Will die, but not in the Death Realm. So not going to be able to get those extra stats for Chinese Spy. Meanwhile, going to just be in trouble. Cactus Thief will be able to go on a rampage. That's a 7-1 Nico, an 8-9-1 Jinx, and a 10-3 Viego. Solid performance from Piltover. An amazing showing from Nikolai, Cactus Thief, and Lamb, as they are now going to be at match point in this best-of-5 series.
Hey, you're sleeping on Big Bad John, though. He did everything he needed, was able to break open those cataclysms completely front line, and even acted as a bait to that Baron fight. What a performance from Piltover Pikes. They're the 4th-seeded team in the Demacian division. I was speaking about Demacia from a casting perspective. They've been one of the most entertaining divisions to cast. And to see even the 4th-seeded team do so well against the 1st-seeded team of Ionia, it's just from such good play in that division alone. But Literal Monkeys, we've seen signs of life throughout some of the early game. We've seen signs of life through some of the early team fights. They're now down 2-0 going into game 3. It's do or die from Literal Monkeys. They need a reverse sweep to get to that next round. I know so many people predicted them to get to quarters, to get to semis. Right now, they're in a really dire position. Moose, what do you think is going to need to change about their playstyle to find a way to get to game 4?
Man, I mean, it's going to have to be a better pickup here from Pyramid Boy on this Victor. I felt it was really underwhelming. Cactus Thief, knew that they were going into that lane to win in the 1v1. When you pick up that Ignite, that signals to me you want to be aggressive there in that lane. You want to try to go for those kills. And to be able to do it in the solo without even needing help from Nikolai is definitely a rough situation. If that happens again, I want to see Zoomer provide a little bit more assistance towards the mid lane. Make sure that Pyramid Boy is protected so that those Ignites don't get value, so that Cactus Thief can't get ahead, and you're able to get yourself into a decent position, because going into the mid game as an underfed Victor is a really tough position to be in.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. I think there's 2 main things I've also noticed from Literal Monkeys, and that's the 2 things that I really hope we clean up for this game. One, I think we've seen a lot of hesitation from Zoomer when going for some of these plays in the lanes, when going for a couple ganks. It felt like he would wait a few seconds, and by that time, that's when the Viego's being able to do so much work in the lane. And I think on the other side, you kind of nailed it. That mid lane needs to get cleaned up a little bit. There were definitely some flaws. And the thing is, we've seen Pyramid Boy absolutely pop off in the Ionian division. But right here, it's been looking a little bit rough for him after that first game. I'd like to see him on something he's a little bit more comfortable on going into this next game, because I think this is where, even if their team comp isn't going to be perfect, you want to see those comfort picks come out. You know they are going to be a little bit worried going into this game 3. When your back's against the wall, that's where all the pressure is. So I'd like to see some comfort picks come out of the side of Literal Monkeys and just see them play the game we've seen across the entire Ionian divisions. They are an amazing team, and I just want to see them be able to get that pop-off match here in game 3.
We'll have to see if they're going to be able to do it. We're going to jump into game 3 in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break to get everything set up, and when we do get back, it'll be draft for this potential match point for the Piltover Pokes. Let's see if they're going to be able to do it. We'll be right back.
cool, way less. My cool, the best. Goddamn, would you look at me? Yo, I'm a lazy motherfucker, that's what everyone sees. Ain't it funny how you wanna be the best, but you can't even get up and get dressed? Wasted, face it, you're never gonna make it. Rockstar, you won't get far. I know you're confused. People tell you you can be anything you wanna be. Wanna go to outer space, superhero in the streets. Wow, damn, what a lie. What a time to be alive. How will I survive? Life's a battlefield. 1974. I think I'm going insane. I'm feeling crazy. Can't get it out of my head. Oh no, if the devil inside takes hold, then I just might wind up dead. Wasted, face it, you're never gonna be the one. Rockstar, you won't get far. At least you had fun. People tell you you can be anything you wanna be, a king or a queen, as long as you got a dream. Oh no, it's a lie, they just wanna take your life, try to tell you it's a battlefield. People tell you you can be anything you wanna be, wanna go to outer space, superhero in the streets. Wow, damn, what a lie, what a time to be alive, how will I survive? Life's a battlefield, 1974.
The world is ours tonight.
I've been in the good times already. You can see it on my face. I know. No more racing. We got it. We could reach it. Yeah, we got it. And you know I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. But what you gonna do? And you know I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. What you gonna do?
Welcome back, everybody, to the Blue Otter League Gold Season 9 round of 12 matchup here. Literal Monkeys are definitely on the back foot moving into this third game. Piltover up 2-0 against their opponents, looking to be able to make it that clean sweep as we move into game 3. No Nico ban and a B1 Orn. What the heck is this draft?
Well, the Monkeys are jumping on the bet again. They must have hit their head with that one. That's a really bold statement to make going into this. Now, off screen, we were talking, and chat's completely right. If Piltover Pokes win this game, that is all 4 Demacian teams advancing to the next round. That would be crazy to see 8 Demacian teams in that quarterfinal stage. How do you feel about that being a possibility, Moose?
I mean, it's almost a reality here if Piltover is able to continue to keep up with what they've been able to do throughout this season and throughout this series. Gonna pick up the Camille to go up against the Orn, and that's what you get when you go for that B1 Orn. You are going to get countered a little bit there, and the Camille is gonna have a really fun time being that split pushing menace. Not really much that Orn is gonna be able to do there, but Nautilus also going to get locked in. Piltover waiting a little bit longer to see what Literal Monkeys wants to do in the bottom lane.
Okay.
Kai'Sa's going to get hovered and potentially selected. I think Kai'Sa's in a really good spot right now, and it is going to get selected here for Literal Monkeys.
I do dig the Kai'Sa fit. I think it fits a little bit more of an aggressive playstyle. I'm ready to see... Wow, that kind of just completely caught me off guard. The Swain pickup coming out. I'm not sure if that's Swain's support or Swain mid. I'm not sure how I feel about Swain going support with the Kai'Sa, though.
It could work, and it's also a flexible pickup. It can go into the mid lane or potentially into the top lane. Let's take a look at the OP.GGs here from the side of Literal Monkeys. Swain has been played pretty consistently by Pyramid Boy, has a 67% win rate on the 10 games that they've played it in solo queue. So that indicates to me that it's most likely going to be a Swain mid lane here, Romeo, for game 3.
I would prefer it to go mid. I just don't know about opening mid last time. To be fair, the counter pick didn't really work out too well. But it's a weird flex pick to me because I'm not a big fan of the Kai'Sa Swain as a duo. I think maybe you just slam whatever support you really want to go for, let them lock in the ADC and see what you can do. But anyways, the Jarvan is the pickup for the junglers. They banned the Rakan, they banned the Amumu, the Nico finally banned, and the Jinx finally banned as well. The Lux going to be the first pickup for Piltover Pokes in that mid lane to go against that Swain.
As we move into the next part of the draft, the Lux is going to get picked up for Piltover as well. if I recall correctly, they have a lot of Lux games in the bottom lane from Lynera. With that coming in, most likely not going to be seeing it going there because the Nautilus already picked up, unless Nautilus goes into the jungle lane or whatever it may be. Seraphine, gonna get locked in.
Yeah, the Seraphine, I think the Seraphine is a nice lock-in. I imagine that's going to be the Seraphine going support. And I think I vibe with the Kai'Sa Seraphine a little bit more, especially into a Nautilus. You can get some good poke damage off. You can do quite a bit of work there. And I think especially once we hit the level 6s, we get the Killer Instinct, we get the Encore. I think we could see a lot of playmaking going around that bot lane. On top of that, the Vi locked in as well. They certainly have a lot of lockdown. They have some pretty good engage. What I am worried about this time, though, is damage. The damage on Literal Monkey's squad does not seem to completely be there, unless maybe we get an Eclipse Vi, but I'm not a huge fan of that build to begin with. I think there's a lot of pressure right now on Kai'Sa to do well, and even a little bit on Pyramid Boy to try to get ahead in that mid lane against that Lux. I think that's going to be a little bit of a difficult ask going into this game 3.
Yeah, I'm just concerned a little bit of Literal Monkey's composition's just viability here moving into this one. It's going to take a lot of execution in order to pull this off. And if you are able to do it, you do have a lot of layered CC that you can make happen, right? You have the opportunity with, to go with Call of the Forge God into the Assault and Battery. Into the Cease and Desist, into the Encore, and the opportunity to be able to then let the Swain and the Kai'Sa pop off. But I don't know how easy that's going to be to execute against a team that can just 100 to 0 you in a matter of moments. Lux has the opportunity to get a Final Spark and just take half of your health, if not more, with one Light Binding Final Spark in the mid game. Camille with true damage. Varus with massive damage if they're able to stay protected, if they go like a lethality poke build. So very excited to see how Literal Monkeys and Piltover are going to be able to respond as we get into this game. I'm going to be, again, really eyeing the jungle here. How much support is the mid lane going to get?
Yeah, it's going to be hopefully a little bit more coming out from Mount Zoomer to try to help their Swain. You know the one thing Literal Monkeys do have, though? When you look at their champ pools compared to their OP.GG, what's been locked in, pretty well every person on their side has gotten one of their top 2 most played picks across both BOL and their solo queue. So the one thing we can at least argue they have is comfort going in. And I think that can mean a lot, especially when you're down 0-2. You don't want to be taking picks that you're not really super, like that are in your A tier or not your S tier. At least all of them are on their S tier champions. All of them are ready to go. And to be fair, we've seen the Kai'Sa go to some great value. We've seen Pyramid Boy's Swain get some great value. We've seen the Seraphine hit some incredible encores across the Ionian division. If they're going to find a win without necessarily the best composition, it's going to be on the champions they're comfortable on, and that's what they have here.
I'm excited to see how it does play out. We are going to get ourselves ready to jump into game 3. Before we do that, we got a little mini game to get ourselves taken care of with. I predicted the Hextech Soul in game 1, Romeo. Let me get your first pickup here in game 2.
All right. Well, it can't be Hextech Soul twice. I want a little bit more of a flashier soul this time. I'm going to go with the Inferno Soul.
Infernal stealing it away from me? Well, then I'm going to steal the Cloud away from you. Biggest mistake of your life, Romeo.
Surely it's not the Cloud Soul. I think that would actually be the most boring soul. As much as I'm a Cloud Soul supporter, it really only feels like it benefits Swain and maybe a little bit of the Kai'Sa. I think my next pickup here, I think a fun soul to see it would probably be, I think I would like to see maybe a Chemtech soul just to see it potentially go onto that Swain. I think that could be a really fun soul to have with a damage reduction.
Go with Ocean then. So you have the choice between the Hextech and Mountain.
Well, since it can't be Hextech twice, right? So I'm going to go with Mountain. That just feels statistically more probable.
No, classic mistake again. I got the 3 best dragons in the game. I'm excited. Gonna be a fun game. It's gonna be a phenomenal series regardless. Is it gonna be a clean sweep for not only the Piltover Pokes, but also the Demacia division here in the round of 12? Or do Literal Monkeys have some fight in them and an opportunity to be able to take this game and take this series potentially back? Let's find out as we take that quick break. We'll be right back shortly.
I'm coming out like a waterfall. I check my phone, but you never call. Lost in the ceiling, caught up in this feeling. I can't seem to let it go. Locked in this cage, I've been stuck here for days, and I can't seem to let you go. You pull me up and I put you down. You gave me love, then I stole your crown. You let me in, then I pushed you out. Pushed you out, pushed you out. Come let me make up for all these days. I've been a mess, tied by all these chains. Open my eyes, now I finally see. Stuck up free, yeah. Can we be free? Everything with you next to me. I know that I've been the enemy, but I've had my moment of clarity, moment of clarity. Lost in the ceiling, caught up in this feeling. I can't seem to let it go. Locked in this cage, I've been stuck here for days, and I can't seem to let you go. You pull me up and I put you down. You gave me love, then I stole your crown. You let me in, then I pushed you out. Pushed you out, pushed you out. Come let me make up for all these days. I've been a mess, tied by all these chains. Open my eyes, now I finally see. Struck on three, yeah. Can we be free?
Hey there, space boy, moving through the galaxy. Can you hear me through the dark? I'm calling you. Where do I start? I'm an emotional, taking in your sweet and considerate heart. Come into my world, give me your spark. Time to land and visit the planet. Give me your trust. I wanna make you sure I'm the reason to come back here. Just don't linger too much, 'cause you're a stranger, baby. So come get to know me. Don't be a stranger now.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Blue Otter League Season 9 Gold League. Literal monkeys at the edge of eternity, looking to be able to avoid a 3-0 sweep against Piltover. Antion is going to be in trouble. Antion is very much in trouble here. gonna be forced to flash away. Nero does not land the dredge line, and a big advantage already for Piltover to start things off.
You have to imagine that means Nikolai's going to be starting at that red buff and passing towards that bot lane, right? You gotta punish the Kai'Sa, who just completely had to burn their flash. They probably should have been expecting an invade, if we're being completely honest. It's a Nautilus, right? When do Nautiluses not invade? They also have a really decent early game. And it's one of those things that you have to expect, especially this late in the playoffs. But now, being down that flash could mean a lot. However, Jarvan's starting on this blue buff. Now, does that mean maybe we see a level 2 gank in the bot lane? We'll have to see how it pans out. Otherwise, he's going to be pathing to impact that top side, which I don't really know if that's going to be that easy to do, right? Big John's on the Camille. He's going to be pushing that Ornn under tower, most likely.
As we move into the start of the game, Ghost Flash or Pyramid Boy here on this Swain. You've got Flash Barrier from Cactus Thief on the Lux, a little bit more defensive here, as we do potentially get that level 2, no warding coming in from Naked Cowboys or Antion, and so this could potentially be a big early start here for Piltover, a potential game-winning moment if they're going to be able to land it. The Flag and Drag misses, but the root's going to land on Naked Cowboys, going to force the flash away from the Seraphine as a little bit of a consolation prize.
That's a really rough Flag and Drag to miss, but either way, you still get both of Seraphine's sums. You get that heal, you get that flash. All that's remaining is that cleanse on Kai'Sa. Lamb and Liurnia can play as aggressive as they want. Piltover is starting with a great way. And Vi going to be getting, what, an extra camp over Jarvan? Jarvan's pathing to a matchup now that isn't going to be affected all that much. But the question is, can Zoomer really do anything to that bot lane now with all those summoners burnt?
Yeah, we'll see what they can do there with that. I mean, now it's just Lanira looking to be able to just find that dredge line onto either Antion or Naked Cowboys. The opportunity to be able to get a kill is definitely there. However, it is a slight CS advantage and a slight gold advantage now in the top lane and in the mid lane. So an opportunity for potentially Naked Cowboys to get an early advantage in that regard. Meanwhile, though, Cactus Thief potentially getting a lane gank here from Nikolai, kind of pathing around towards it, deciding against it, will go towards his Raptors instead. And so the game will continue without any kills on the board.
And you have to be honest, that little bit of time wasted let Nikolai catch up in a camp. And I feel like that's something that once again, I spoke about it earlier, Zoomer kind of being hesitant to make those plays, and because of that, Nikolai's able to make plays and be relatively unpunished, at least if they're going from camp to camp or rushing into that play, right? They're still going to get something. Maybe they burn Cactus Thief's flash. Oh, but a big dredge line.
Yeah, Antion going to be exhausted now. Antion going to potentially be in trouble. The Rain of Arrows.
Oh!
Antion gets the level 3 to survive, and now Zoomer trying to be able to go in does not land the Vault Breaker, but the stun is going to come through, and that's going to be a first blood for Zoomer on this Vi. Lanira potentially in trouble, does still have the flash to potentially get out of this one. Going to be able to avoid the slow and will be able to survive.
A very nice cease and desist from Zoomer, and getting that early first blood, Vault Breaker, getting that early first blood, kind of nice. It is on the Vi. I think it's a little bit better on the Kai'Sa there, but going on the Vi, you have to imagine, is going to be able to accelerate them a little bit. They're able to find that kill. They're going to be able to get a pretty sizable back after they finish off that Scuttle Crab, and it's going to help their clear speed and some future ganks. So very nicely played from Zoomer there.
Yeah, let's see what they're going to be able to do now as we move into the first back. Zoomer going to be able to pick up that Sheen. That's a pretty good item to start things off. Big John going to be able to get the stun on a Chinese spy with Nikolai now in the area. The Flag and Drag potentially come through, going to be able to get the slow. But I do not suspect that this Ornn will be in too much threat. We'll be able to get out of that one just fine.
Yeah, right now this early game has felt relatively even between Big John and Chinese Spy, but I imagine the second Big John is able to get the Divine Sunderer is where this lane gets flipped on its head. Really, right now, Camille, they're just trying to pick up the CS, trying to keep Ornn off as much as they can. They haven't been doing a great job at that, but once they get the Divine Sunderer, it becomes such a hard lane for Chinese Spy to play, but a big gank coming in.
All right, Cactus Thief is going to go down. Zoomer going to be able to pick up that kill. That is 2 now. 4 literal monkeys, and Pyramid Boy getting that assistance they were looking for.
And that's a second kill on Vi. They're stacking the kills on Vi greatly. And once again, you have to imagine this is going to make it really hard for Jarvan to keep an equal amount of pressure with Zoomer. It's clear that with the comfort pick in, Zoomer has been zooming across this rift. They're making their impact known now. 2-0. It's feeling really good for them, and it looks like they might try to gank bottom and threaten this dragon.
See if they're going to be able to get it, though, with Nikolai now on the way. It would be a 3v4. Potentially Pyramid Boy in trouble. Vision of Empire is not going to land, but the root is going to come through, and now Nikolai in trouble. Nice dredge line onto Zoomer, as Nikolai's going to be able to flash away, and now Lyanna is going to be potentially in trouble. Antion going to be able to pick up that kill. The Flagging Dragon is going to come down. That's going to be Lamb picking up one. That's going to be the nice final spark, and a double kill for Antion before going down. Makes it a 2-for-2 so far. Naked Cowboys now potentially in trouble. Gonna get another kill for Lamb. 3 for this Varus, and a triple kill to boot.
Oh my god, could that have gone worse for Literal Monkeys? It opened up nicely for sure. Pyramid Boy was able to sit on top of Nikolai. They found the kill. They were able to pincer Lyra against the wall, but I'm not sure if Lyra is the target you need to be going for there. And Lamb absolutely proved why. And now you are dealing with a 3-1 Varus. They went from having nothing to having the whole world in their hands. On top of that, they're going to pick up that Cloud Drink. That's gotta feel so nice.
Ballbreaker not landing again. Zoomer is level 4 here, trying to go for these ganks. And now John potentially in trouble, not able to get out of that one. So it will end up being a kill there. Meanwhile, in the bottom and mid lane, Cactus Thief's going to take down Pyramid Boy. So it ends up being a 1-for-1 across the rift.
Yeah, it is a 1-for-1 there. It is definitely a nice pickup on that top side. It's also a nice pickup for Cactus Thief. It's going to provide them with that AP damage that is solely on that Lux. So you want that Lux to try to get as ahead as possible. So to be able to pick up that kill, I think you are feeling pretty good about. I imagine Nikolai's going to help try to provide a couple more kills onto that Lux as this game advances, so that they can try to force some magic resistance out onto the side of Literal Monkeys. But here, an engagement on the top side.
Yeah, John's going to just get some damage in on a Chinese Spy. Is actually going to put Chinese Spy into a bit of a rough position, but Big John able to get out of, or unable to get any further damage thanks to some nice knock-up and damage that Chinese Spy is still able to put out here in the early stages of the game. The longer that the game goes on, the less likely Chinese Spy is going to be able to win that engagement, so definitely something to look into for now. Meanwhile, an interesting AP build going to come in from Lamb. It is going to be this sort of AP style build. The magic penetration boots coming in. Big John is going to get knocked up here in the bottom lane, or the top lane, and should go down. Going to get rooted, going to get suited, going to hit the Hextech Ultimatum, but it will not be enough. Will end up being Zoomer picking up their 3rd kill.
Yeah, another kill onto that Vi. That Vi is going to have to be the carry, and a big Vault Breaker on the Cactus might cost them their life.
Yeah, Cease and Desist is going to come in. Cactus Thief is low. Cactus Thief is going to steal away the kill against Zoomer. What a play from this Lux.
You know, I was on board with the Vault Breaker. I'm not sure about committing to that full tower dive. Cactus getting another big kill. Now, I think it does mean a little bit less when you have the... Oh my god.
Okay, shut down. There we go. Pyramid Boy getting the solo bolo.
Pyramid Boy looking like a whole different person on this Swain compared to the Victor. And oh my god.
Okay, now Antion potentially in trouble. Does get the heal. So is going to be able to get out of that one, but is going to be extremely low. The volley of able to slow down Naked Cowboys. And now Lamb and Lyanna with a little bit of an advantage here. See if they're able to get any more out of this. They'll back away.
Yeah, they do back away, but they have gotten a lot. That Kai'Sa's going to lose a full wave to that turret because of that little bit of a poor engagement. It looks like Lamb's going to try to pick up a solo plate as well. That is going to be a lot of gold onto the next back to continue that build. But on the top side, Zoomer is here and ready for another gank out of John.
No cease and assist this time, but they will land the Vault Breaker. Doesn't land the knock-up, though, so Big John might be able to get out of this one. Is low, and a second Vault Breaker will do it. Zoomer going to be able to pick up another kill. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Pyramid Boy going to be taking a lot of damage. Going to be forced to ghost away from Cactus Thief to survive that engagement. But overall, it is a solid 1,000 gold advantage for Literal Monkeys at the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, and now we have our first pause of the series. The big pause that will change everything. Chinese Spy is back. And it looks like we are about to go, of course, that wonderful pause. But as we advance through this game, you have to imagine that Varus is going to be... Actually, it looks like Varus and Kai'Sa are pretty even on gold. Varus only about 600 gold up. But that Varus has been playing very strong in that lane. Lamb playing absolutely incredible ever since that triple kill. Meanwhile, we've been seeing a lot out of both these junglers.
Yeah, it's a lot of gold actually in Nikolai's pocket right now, but we are going to get the reset from Pyramid Boy, a reset from multiple members here. Lot of death against Big John now, 1 and 3. That I'm really looking at here as the weak spot on Piltover at the moment. You've got a 3 and 1 Varus. Lamb is definitely in a pretty good position here, just looking to be able to continue to stack up that damage, stack up that AP, and just look to be a pest wherever they go. But at the moment, it's still a slight advantage for Literal Monkeys. First Dragons did get taken by Piltover, with the Infernal now spawning in about a minute. Both of us with 2 of our soul predictions still up, though, so...
Yes, it is a completely even game across the board in terms of the soul prediction, but I can feel it. I am definitely right about this one. Big John, though, thinks he's right in taking this fight against Chinese Spy. A lot of poke damage coming out. Nothing going to be found. However, you look at Big John, their next back. They are going to have the item they have been waiting all lane for.
Yeah, the Divine Sunder is going to come in. John does have the Rift Herald to drop it here to continue to push out Chinese Spy. Just be a little bit more of a pest here in the lane. Not going to get the most value, but is going to be able to put Chinese Spy into a bit of a precarious situation, I feel. Maybe not.
No way.
Oh, no. Chinese Spy just gapping. Hold that thought, though. Zoomer now going to come through. The Encore is going to miss, and now Zoomer's going to try to come in the flash forward, and the stun is going to land on a Lynira. That's going to be a little bit of damage coming in with the final spark. Can they get it? They will. The final spark landing on the Zoomer. That'll be a nice kill there. Nikolai going to be in trouble, though, but it's going to be a cleanup potentially from Lamb and Cactus Thief. Antion going to cleanse early. Cactus Thief is going to try to do some more damage here. Maybe going to be able to land under the root, and they will be able to in on a Naked Cowboy. Is going to force a flash out of the Seraphine. Antion potentially in trouble, going to get slowed. Going to be going down. Shut down against the Kai'Sa, and a double kill for Lamb. Now 5-1 and 2.
What a fight just broke out, and it's got to be heartbreaking when you're Naked Cowboys and that Encore doesn't land. It went completely awry, and from there, that fight started to go downhill, but another fight still breaking out here.
I don't know. I think it's just going to be Lamb overstaying. Flash, Vault Breaker, dead. 800 gold going to go into Zoomer's pocket.
Meanwhile, John and Chinese Spy battling up there. It doesn't look like anything's going to come of it. But yeah, a big shutdown of the Vi. A lot of gold onto the Vi. They are over 1,000 gold up compared to Nikolai. They have the most gold on their team, and the second most gold in the game, of course, behind Lamb, who is able... It feels like every time a team fight breaks out, it's just Lamb who is profiting. They are the adventure capitalists of the Rift right now. They're coming back to lane with a Gnasher's Tooth. They're coming back with that Leeching Leer, however, an Inferno Drake picked up from Zoomer.
The mountains rise, and Romeo, you get this Drake soul prediction correct. We're 1 and 1 on the day. So, I guess GG, you got one right. Whippy, good for you.
Well, the thing is, this tie can only be broken if Literal Monkeys are capable of finding the win and bringing this to a game 4. Of course, Piltover has done such a great job in these first 2 matches, but here, right now, is where it really counts.
Oh, an overstep from Naked Cowboys, going to potentially be in trouble. Cataclysm landing on 3 members. Massive final spark coming in through as well. Lamb is going to go down, and that's actually going to be huge here for for Literal Monkeys. Cactus Thief is in trouble, going to be forced to flash away. Zoomer going to try to go in. The knockup's going to land. The root's going to come through. And Zoomer is going to fall once again to Cactus Thief, who's just so prickly. Can't catch a break on this Vi against the Lux.
And topside now, Big John on top of Chinese Spy. They used that Hextech ultimatum, but Chinese Spy able to get under their tower. Are they going to be able to get away? It does not look like it. And Big John flashing away from the tower. They get the tower dive kill all by themselves, and it just goes to show the second they get the Divine Sunderer, that lane is so heavily in their favor.
Yeah, it's now a rough situation here for this Ornn, utilizing teleport to get back. Unfortunate that they lost out on that fight. That's gonna mean that Piltover is going to have a little bit of just free time there in the top lane to potentially get that first tower of the game going down. See if they're gonna be able to do it. Zoomer is in the area though, but Hookshot John should be able to get out of that one just fine. No cease and assist from Zoomer as well, so okay. They'll be able to get out of that one. Rift Herald is going to spawn, though, so that could potentially be a neutral objective for either team to go for. At the moment, though, it's still a laning phase game at the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, it certainly is. However, it's almost a kill per minute for both of these teams. 14 kills on each in 15 minutes. That's a monumental kill line.
Yeah, 28. It's not half bad. It is an even game in kills and practically an even game in gold. A slight advantage towards literal monkeys, but it's the gold distribution that's worrying me most. Zoomer with the most gold on the side of literal monkeys, comparatively speaking. You got both Cactus Thief and Lamb that have a lot of gold in comparison to their lane opponents. They're going to be able to deal so much more damage and be so much more impactful in the later stages of the game when buy starts starts to fall off a little bit more. So I'm looking to see if Zoomer is going to be able to give some of that gold over back to their solo lane Pyramid Boy or to Antion on this Kaisa. Hold that thought, though, as the Chain of Corruption is going to land in onto Zoomer. The Piercing Arrow is going to come through. The Encore is going to land as well. The Cataclysm is going to be the cease and assist. And an overcommitment from Piltover is going to mean that we lose out on the Piltover jungler. Nikolai's going to go down. The fight is going to continue. Piercing Arrow is going to land, but not enough damage to get anyone to go down. So a free kill for Literal Monkeys.
It is certainly a free kill there. Seraphine is the one who picked up the shutdown. One of the better people for the case of Piltover to get that shutdown. However, it's still a really rough kill to have. Of course, that Herald's still up, not contested, but a lot of fighting has been happening. That top side, Camille absolutely going off. But you were mentioning, I'm going to go back to it, Vi having all the gold in their team. They went the Divine Sunderer build. They didn't go the Radiant build. They did not go the Eclipse build. They went for the standard Divine Sunderer build, and I'm not sure how impactful that gold is going to be on them because of it. They went Divine. They went straight into the Maw, so that is going to be a strong pickup. They're going to be able to last longer in fights against that Varus, against that Lux. And if they can find on top and try to delete one of them from the battle early like they did in that last team fight, it's certainly going to look like a winning angle for Literal Monkeys, but they need to be able to pick off Lamb or Cactus at the start of each of these fights if they want a chance to keep going. Because we see what happens when Lamb and Cactus are left alive. And it's that fight turns into absolute turmoil for Literal Monkeys. So it has to be Zoomer's job to get on top of them and stop at least one of them from playing every fight.
Zoomer going to be seen in the bottom lane, clearing out some wards. Not going to be able to clear out all the wards that Piltover has been able to establish. We see Nikolai picking up the Rift Herald here, with Big John getting some more damage against Chinese Spy, who really needs to be able to teleport into this dragon fight, get a big call of the Forge God to be effective here on this Ornn. The more that the game progresses, the more we're just seeing Chinese Spy get pretty rough, having a pretty rough go against the Camille. But it is going to be the dragon getting taken by Literal Monkeys. No contest by Piltover here. They're going to be content with continuing to push up in the top lane, just continuing to be aggressive, as Cactus Thief is now going to potentially be in trouble. Barrier is still available. No flash. Cactus Thief might have to use it here as a flash is going to come forward. Shut down on Cactus Thief. Pyramid Boy getting the solo kill.
Yeah, they did pick up the Herald during that Dragon time, so at least they get something for it. A nice kill from Pyramid Boy. A very nice shutdown picked up. They're going to get a shutdown of their own off it. And now that they have that Leandre's is when Pyramid Boy really starts to get to play the game. And I expect Pyramid to be able to really make an impact on this Swain. They have been amazing on it in the series. Throughout the course of the season. They are looking pretty good on it in this series so far, and I think they might be able to be that threat to help Vi pin down the Cactus Thief, pin down Lamb, and really allow their team to play from that angle. If they're able to sit on top of that backline while their team picks off the Camille, picks off the Jarvan, picks off the Nautilus, these team fights are going to look better and better for Literal Monkeys.
2 items now completed for Lamb on the Varus. Riftmaker unlocked 6-3 and 2. Not a bad stat line there. Leandry is also completed for Pyramid Boy now, along with Stopwatch and a 5-stack Dark Seal. Not a bad stat line, especially for this Swain, an opportunity to be that pop-off factor here and kind of counter J4's Cataclysm, denying any sort of real effectiveness there if you can't shut Pyramid Boy down, especially if he goes into that Demonic Ascension and then pops that stopwatch, and then you're in a really, really good position there. It is still an even gold game with a slight advantage towards Piltover. Dragon spawning in 3.5 minutes, so no neutral objectives to be taking on that front. Rift Herald is still available for Nikolai, though, so an opportunity to be able to potentially go for the mid-tier 1 tower to clear out the Rift a little bit more on their side. It's all going to be up to Piltover to decide what type of macro game they want to play moving into the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, it is time for them to really come to those decisions. It's going to be hard for them to drop another dragon, considering that literal monkeys are up 2-1. If they get another dragon, it could make Swain and Ornn virtually unkillable. But a big engagement coming from Nikolai. The Cataclysm does land. He forces the flash, but I think that's all it's going to be for now. Oh, no.
They're going to get the teleport as well. The final spark's going to land. Naked Cowboys is dead. Double kill for Lamb. Going to be able to use the volley of arrows. And that was a fight that Literal Monkeys invested a lot of resources into. Flash taken away from Naked Cowboys. You also got the teleport taken away from Chinese Spy, who's now potentially in trouble. Lightnira is going to be able to get the Vault Breaker in on, or the Dredge Line onto Zoomer, who's now at half HP. And Piltover win a pretty big team fight.
And on top of that, both those kills going on to the Varus, and they're going to spawn that Rift Herald as well. There's almost no way for them to contest it, especially with that big root landing.
Oh no, it's a nice ultimate and nice golden Swain there to try to keep Pyramid Boy alive, but Lamb dealing so much dang damage. Now 9-3-2 on this Varus. Piltover could look to escort Shelly to get another headbutt here with Zoomer in the area. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case, as the root is going to land in onto Zoomer. No final spark from Cactus Thief at this moment, but man, it is disaster for Literal Monkeys.
Yeah, and Varus, he's back on 3,100 gold at the moment. Pretty much a full item going to be joining that inventory after the fight. You think he's scary with Nashers and Rift Makers? Just wait till he picks up that third item. I wonder, it's going to be the Shadow Flame. He's got the Shadow Flame. Now, Ornn is going to suffer big time. Swain's going to suffer big time now that that Shadow Flame's picked up. And now, I imagine we're going to be seeing a stopwatch come out of that Varus soon as well. I imagine the next 750 probably would be a good investment there to try to protect that bounty, get those cooldowns if he's in a rough spot at any team fight. But right now, man, that Varus has got one step to being the god among Piltover.
Feels like it at this point with just the amount of damage that a Varus can put out. You land the volley of arrows, you land the piercing arrow, and up against pretty much any member on Literal Monkey's side, you're going to be feeling the burn. Jack Show upgraded and completed for Chinese Spy, Bambi Cinder. You've also got that Bramble Vest, which unfortunately isn't getting that much value. You're not going to be seeing any armor coming in from Lamb in this game, going to be all AP, so you're really just looking to shut down Nikolai here, who's not here to build all of that, to go up against Chinese Spy, looking to be able to get into that backline and utilize that Cataclysm of the Gorge Wrecker to be able to survive. We're at a 23-minute mark and a point in the game now where Piltover could really start to take control of this one. Cactus Thief is pretty much completely online. Of course, Lamb is completely online. And it's all about the side lane pressure that Big John can bring to the table here. At the moment, it is a dragon potential getting taken here by Piltover. They have started it. They are starting to shred it. Not a lot of DPS, though, because it isn't going to be that AD Varus. And a fight is now going to commence. A little bit of damage in onto Lim. Is going to get hit by the cease and assist, and is going to get shut down immediately. Cactus Thief is able to get into the backline here. Will they be able to find a big final spark? Because Big John's going to be able to take down one. Does get a lot of damage to that final spark, but a big golden from Pyramid Boy is going to make sure that they don't get damaged by it. Big John's trying to be able to escape. And a good shutdown onto Lamb is going to mean that Literal Monkeys are going to get the fight that they want.
Yeah, it's such a big turnaround for the Literal Monkeys. They're going to find the third dragon. It puts them on that soul point, that mountain soul point that they could really use in a time like this. It's so good on Swain. It's so good on Ornn. And they did everything they needed to do that fight. MIT Zoomer found the cease and desist, put it directly on Lamb. There was no moving for Lamb. They got deleted off the face of the rift, and right there, when you're 9-4 ADC goes down in the blink of an eye. All you can do is run away. There is no winning that fight after that. Kai'Sa also was able to pick up a couple kills there. They're looking stronger. They got the Kraken. They got the Phantom Dancer. They got the Berserker Greaves. And now you have to imagine that Literal Monkeys, they just want to hold off and wait for this next dragon to spawn before they try to take a next fight. Unless they're trying to defend Baron or something, they are just going to wait for that dragon to spawn and be ready to go guns a-blazing. What it does during that time, you have to imagine Orange looking for those levels. He's looking to bring the ornaments out. I imagine the next ornament probably goes to Kai'Sa, or maybe the Vi as well. Maybe upgrade the Divine Sunderer so that their team can really get rolling when this dragon fight comes.
Yeah, with that power play from Piltover, they got the mid and the bottom tier 1 tower, got a little bit of that standing gold on there as well. And as you were talking about, a couple of those big items now purchased for Literal Monkeys as they get the gold lead by about 500 gold at this point. Zoom are going to be able to find Big John, but going to be able to hookshot away, so not going to be in too much of a sticky situation. The next big objective, the thing that everyone's going to be looking for now, is that Baron. The opportunity to be able to wear purple and make it a Baron power play for the next 3 minutes could potentially be big for whatever team is going to be able to get it. Currently, it is River Control and Vision Control for Piltover, but Literal Monkeys in the mid lane, they could look to go for an engage here.
Now, Worm Fallen Sacrifice has been the next ornament chosen. It's on the Kai'Sa. Those upgraded stats could come in big time, especially if a fight is to take place in this mid lane. To have that ready to go, to have that Raren for Literal Monkeys, I think it could be their time. Now, of course, the later this game goes as well is nice for Literal Monkeys, right? The more ornaments are going to come out. And, of course, Swain's one of those champions. The longer the game goes, the more health they are going to get off that passive. So I think they're content with this game going as late as it is and gutting as farther. It's also like one of those things where Seraphine's also a champion that really benefits as you go into the mid to late game, having that enchanter. But a big pick might be coming in this top lane.
Big John going to be able to get the hook shot, avoiding the Vault Breaker, but might be in trouble, going to have to use the Assault or the Hextech Ultimatum. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it's going to be a 4v3 that Piltover is looking to be able to go for. They're going to take down Chinese Spy and Naked Cowboys, picking up 2 summoner spells in exchange as well.
There's such good macro coming out of Piltover. They see the 2 members top lane, they say, okay, there's 4 of us, there's 3 of them. This takes, we go in, and because of that, they're able to pull back some kills, and that must feel really good. Now, they can threaten Baron if they really want to. They have pretty much all the members of the team they need to threaten that, but for some reason, it appears they are not very committed to what they want to do. It looks like they're just going to be falling back to the jungle, clear some camps, get some more gold running. Now, Varus is sitting on 2,200 gold again. They're probably going to farm a couple more camps and take a nice back. I hope we see a stopwatch come out of them.
Yeah, could potentially see a Zhonya's Hourglass, potentially, depending on how much gold they get. They're going to be able to clear out the Gromp and clear out the blue buff. Doesn't look like either team is looking to go for a Baron play, so not going to be unfortunate there, but definitely something that you want to see adjusted as you move into, as you get more developed in your League of Legends career. You don't want to have more than 1,500 gold in your pocket. Having almost items worth of inventory of gold in your inventory is definitely not the best play, because you don't get to utilize that gold until you go back. Let's see what they do decide to get. It's going to be the Seeker Arm Guard and the Fiendish Codex.
Why not the stopwatch? Why are we building the components to Zhonya's and not the Zhonya's going into this dragon fight? Now, to be fair, if they do go gold, it is a lot of reduced damage during that fight, but I am a little bit questioning not buying that stopwatch pick, but we'll have to see how this fight turns out, because in 30 seconds, they have one of the most crucial fights of this game. It is that Mountain Soul. If Literal Monkeys can find it, it could make wondrous strides for them getting into a game 4. But if Piltover find it, if they are able to pick up this dragon, prevent it for another 5 minutes, it does open up the opportunity to try to push some waves and maybe get another step closer to ending this game and going to the quarterfinals.
Texas Thief does have that stopwatch. River Control going to be over for Piltover here as Literal Monkeys is going to clear out the mid lane. Chinese Spy is going to be the first to go in. Nikolai is going to come through, going to land the Cataclysm on Antion. Are they going to be able to finish down this Kai'Sa? They have not been able to. Antion just survives the final spark, and the knockup's going to come in. Piltover completely collapse here. They give the team fight away over to Literal Monkeys. It is a 5-0.
Wow. A little bit of an over-engagement coming out of Nikolai. The final spark shooting at every member but Kai'Sa, and that Kai'Sa living with 1 HP does so much. Zoomer able to get to that backline as well. It was just such a rough fight for Piltover that felt like the engagement kind of came 1-4 instead of engaging as a full team. And because of that, they just lost that soul. They're going to lose that Baron, and now trying to close up this game is going to be really, really difficult for them to do. They weren't able to do it pre-soul. How are they going to do it post-soul?
I'm not sure. Now with that Mountain Soul coming in, you get the extra goal, or the extra max health shield. That's going to be so big for Pyramid Boy, who stacks HP for the entirety of the game. The big boy Ornn as well. Zoomer with a lot of HP. And you get Baron Nashor, the opportunity to be able to use that game-ending buff to potentially get those inhibitors down and secure a win for Literal Monkeys in this best of 5. As you said, take it to game 4 and the opportunity to be able to finish the job. Lamb now has that Zillions Hourglass, so we'll have that available for the next big team fight, most likely at Elder. Piltover still surviving with no inhibitors going down, and it doesn't look like Literal Monkeys is looking to be able to use that Baron buff aggressively. We're not seeing them go for any of those inner towers or inhibitor towers just yet. Maybe looking to go for a pick against Cactus Thief, who is overextended. They will be able to pick up that kill easily. So now a power play for Literal Monkeys and a chance for them to really capitalize with this buff.
Yeah, they're going to be destroying that top lane of Piltover real quick. However, Big John is on the split push. Ornn is going to back, but they might be able to find that T2 turret there. They at least get a little bit of spoils, but their entire top side here being absolutely destroyed. And if a fight goes awry, it very well could be endgame for Literal Monkeys.
Lamb is going to get hit by that Void Seeker as Nikolai is going to come in. There's Killer Instinct. There's the Encore. There's Antion going unstoppable. Double kill for this Kai'Sa. Nikolai's going to get the flag and drag, but will die. Zoomer is dominating. The teleport got canceled by Big John, and now there's no one to defend the Nexus. Chinese Spy will make sure that Big John can't get in. We'll keep him in the fight. We're going to a game 4.
We certainly are. Literal Monkeys decided to do what they do best. They pick a weird team comp, but they're all comfortable on the champions that they played. All of them were able to find those comfort picks, and we've seen insanely different players this game, especially, and let's just say it like it is, Pyramid Boy went from the ground straight up. He went from rock bottom straight to the sky. Went from that Victor pick to that coveted Swain pick and was able to do so much for his team. Zoomer this time around was able to find a lot of plays. From the second they were able to find those kills bot lane, they were able to really steamroll that advantage. And even Antion, they started off with a little bit of a slow game, but as it advanced, as they were able to find those kills on Kai'Sa, they were able to do so much. And it felt like the only fights they were really losing as we went to the mid and late game were the ones where they were actively missing abilities, like when they missed the Encore from Seraphine. But the second they got to the drag fight, the second they got to the do or die fights that they needed this time with their backs against the wall, they were finding everything they needed to win this game.
And that's going to bring us to a game 4 situation. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, game number 4 will commence in this best of 5 series. Don't go anywhere.
All right.
I'm hearing all of what you say to me, but I'll think it over. It's a little bit hard to breathe, to breathe, to breathe. This kinda seems like it's a common theme. You don't think I understand what you said to me, to me, to me. Yeah, every time that we have this talk, it's a little bit hard to admit our faults. But I'm not so perfect. Is all of this worth it? Is all of this worth it? This feeling is fading, and I can't look back and can't catch my breath. It's too hard to let go. It's too hard to let go.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Blue Water League Gold. We are here in the round of 12 with Literal Monkeys bringing themselves back from the brink, are now in this series down 2-1 against the side of the Piltover Pokes, who get side selection, decide to go back over to blue here, Romeo. Ban's coming through. That Swain is going to get taken away. That Orin is going to get taken away as well.
I think it's about time we see the Orin taken away. I'm very glad to see that Swain banned. I feel like that Swain is one of those picks that's just too deadly to leave on the Rift. It only started popping off mid to late game. But honestly, to see Pyramid Boy go from that Victor to that Swain, I think you have to ban the Swain and hope he's on something less comfortable. What is surprising here is that Lux going to be the first pick for Piltover Pokes.
Yep, looking to be able to get that light binding, looking to be able to potentially be a flexible first pick as well. Could go into the bottom lane to go for an oppressive, very early game oriented Lux build, or could potentially go back into the mid lane here for Cactus Thief. It did perform badly, but it didn't get the same amount of momentum, and it didn't get the same amount value that we saw that Nico in game 2 earlier. So let's see what they do decide to go with it. Now knowing that the Kaisa is going to be there in the bottom lane for Literal Monkeys, I thought it was played pretty well by Antion, was able to get really going in the mid game as the Mumu gets hovered to potentially go down there with it.
Yeah, that's a tried and tested combination. A Mumu Kaisa, one of those. It was definitely a lot stronger last season, but I think it's still a really solid bot lane now. Of course, Amumu provides so much CC to allow Kaisa to just Killer Instinct in and do everything she wants to do. It provides pretty good lane pressure, but the Lulu going to be the response for Amumu. I think it is a good response if you can find that polymorph on Kaisa. She's really your only worry inside of that laning phase. I am interested to see what ADC is going to go alongside it, whether we're going to see something aggressive or something safer to just not really allow Kaisa and Amumu to do what they want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Lulu does definitely make sense and going to be pairing it up with the Jinx. Jinx loves to have an enchanter support to go with them. And so we're going to see that get picked up here once again in the bottom lane. It leaves no mystery to telling us where the Lux is going. It is going into the mid lane. No mystery for where this Lulu Jinx is going. That is going to be your bottom lane here for the side of Piltover, which means they're going to have the mid lane and the top lane still to look at, or I'm sorry, the jungle and the top lane to be able to look at here for this one. The Yone is going to get locked in R3. It was banned out in previous games, so wanting to be able to pick that up now, looking to be able to get that Fate Seal, having the opportunity to line it up with the Curse of the Sad Mummy that the Amumu provides, and now with the rest of these picks coming in from Literal Monkeys, probably looking to be able to get something else that's going to be able to complement that.
I'm not going to lie. At the moment, I like Literal Monkeys draft a little bit more than Piltover Pokes. I think instead of that Lulu, a Thresh might have been a better pickup overall to try to keep that Kaisa and Amumu away. But at the moment, I think the Yone's probably going to have a pretty easy time to Lux. I can't imagine a world where that matchup is super hard for the Yone to play. Now, of course, if Kaisa can land some of those nice roots, there is a good chance they might be able to burst him out early. But as we get later and later, especially once that Fates Unsealed is picked up, I think that gets to be a really hard matchup for Lux to play without jungle interference. On the same side, I just imagine that Kaisa and Amumu bots can do so much early to that Jinx and Lulu.
Kled gonna get banned away. Piltover not wanting to get the extra charge that it provides. Maybe give a little bit extra ability for the Mumu and Yone to potentially line up their ultimates. Of course, the Mumu can still just go in. If they're able to land a really good bandage toss, they then get that Curse of the Sad Mummy. And the team fight is just almost won at that point for Literal Monkeys. But now they still have to pick up a top lane and a jungle. And they're going to be banning away some of the picks that we've been seeing previously here in this series. Both the Viego and the J4 were played by Nikolai in that last game, or in the last two games, so they're not going to be going with it here in this one. Something completely different in the jungle, as the Jax becomes the last ban for Piltover. So with the Jax taken away, with the Kled taken away, I'm curious to see if we're going to be potentially getting a carry top lane here, or if we're just going to be sticking with the tank.
Yeah, well, at the moment, I wonder if they're going to slam the jungle here and give Big John the thing again. So Vi going to be locked in as the jungler here. Now, Vi was a deadly pickup last time for Literal Monkeys.
Yeah, coming through, and I think, Zoomer played it pretty well, got some pretty good season assists, didn't really perform, I think, too well in the early game. Those Vault Breakers did not land. The Xin Zhao is going to be the pickup here in response for Piltover. Let's get some stats going on for Nikolai. Nikolai does have Xin Zhao games played on their OP.GG, and if there was any time to play it, now would be the time. Going to be paired up with that Shen coming in from Big John. 41 games of Shen played in solo queue for Big John in season 2023 with a 56% win rate.
Yeah, again, there's something to be said about comfort, and it looks like Piltover Pokes going to be going with comfort going to this game 4, especially with that Shen pick. And I'm just so glad to see a Xin Zhao pick up. I'm a Xin Zhao main myself. I got 1,000,000 points of that champion. To see it come out, to see him back into a situation where he's playable, I'm really excited to see it come out. I also think he's a relatively decent pick up into Vi and into Kai'Sa. He's one of those champions where if you try to fly away, he's able to get on you with that E. But the Kennen gonna be locked into Shen. We have two top laners here who are not really necessarily playing for the top lane, but rather they're going to be playing to impact the rest of the map, right? Slicing Maelstrom, one of the best team fighting ultimates in this game. Of course, Shen going to be trying to stand united with the Jinx, with the Xin Zhao, with the Lux. Going to be a big help with that shield, able to turn any fight that you think is a 2v2 into a 3v2. Any fight that you think is a 1v1 into a 2v1. So I think it should be really interesting to see the dynamic of this top lane shift. Whereas last time we kind of had like an Ornn against something that was able to bully the Ornn. Like Ornn wants to help his team. Meanwhile, the opposing champion is kind of going for that split push, kind of just trying to win their lane. Now we have two top laners that are solely oriented on those team fights.
Looking at Chinese Spy OP.GG here, just looking to see where the Kennen ranks up in their played games. No games played on the Kennen in 2023 in solo queue. Of course, this does not take into consideration any custom games or any other scrimmages that Literal Monkeys might have potentially played in the past. So probably still has some experience on it if they're going to be picking it up here in the round of 12 in a game that could potentially be their last in the Blue Otter League. So with the now layered on CC that Literal Monkeys has, with the Curse of Sad Mummy coupled now with the Kennen Slicing Maelstrom, it's gonna be up to Antion and Pyramid Boy to find that damage and to find those kills. The only thing that I'm worried about here is that they are lacking a little bit in the AP department. Kennen could potentially be your APC here. I'm not sure what type of build they want to go for, but I'm not convinced that we're going to be seeing like an AP Kai'Sa here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know if I completely agree that we're sleeping on the AP damage. Like, I agree. I don't think Kai'Sa is going to be going full AP. I imagine we're going to be getting the standardized build for Kai'Sa. And Yon only does a little bit of mix, but I think there is a little bit of undervalue when it comes to Kennen and Amumu. Amumu is one of those champions that, although even in the support role, he does at times feel like he does more AP damage than he should. And I think Kennen also is one of those champions where not only does he provide a lot of CC, but there is, especially if he gets ahead, a sizable amount of AP damage come out. And on top of that, when you're going to be crossing that with the Amumu passive, that's going to be able to provide that extra 10% true damage. You do have a Yone whose mixed damage is partly true damage. You have a Kai'Sa whose mixed damage is going to be partly true damage now. And then a Kennen who pretty much the majority of his damage also is going to get that 10% true damage on top of it anytime he's in a fight with a Mumu. So I do think overall they do kind of have their bases covered in that way. However, I do expect to see a high priority on getting that Kai'Sa and getting that Yone ahead when it comes to the Vi. I think they have to be focusing that mid and bot lane, have to try and get those two champions ahead. And to be fair, they do have pretty good setup. Amumu's one of those champions where you can just kind of wait, you hold the Vault Breaker, he lands the Bandage Toss, you chain the CC. That was a little bit of a difficulty that we've seen a couple of times in the game. The layering of CC has been a difficulty for both these teams somewhat. But if they're able to find it, it will go very nice. On top of that, Yone, if you can land that Fate's Unsealed on Lux, if she's not already dead, the Vault Breaker can come in, or the other way around, right? You land the Cease and Desist, you follow it up with the Fate's Unsealed. They have so many ways to engage in these fights, so much lockdown. On the other side, Piltover pokes. If they're able to hold them off and let that Jinx free hit, let that Lux throw in some spells, land some final sparks, they definitely will have a good time in these team fights. And on top of that, if that Xin Zhao is able to really cause chaos with the on Crescent Seal, it can really make a lot change in the course of a team fight.
We'll have to see how it does end up playing out here, folks, as we get ourselves into Game 4. That spectator delay has about begun. Let's get our dragon predictions going. I made the mistake of giving you Mountain Drake. I should have taken it away, but I have learned from my mistakes. And let's see what it's going to be. I still think we're going to see Cloud here. I'm going to go with Cloud.
That sucks. I like a piece of me wants to say Cloud as well, but you're just gonna be wrong because now that you said it, you've cursed the Cloud Drake from spawning, like you cursed a couple of players in the last game. So I think this game we need something big, we need something loud, and it's going to be that Inferno Soul coming out.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go with yours. I'm gonna go with Chemtech here.
I get it. I'm sticking with Big and Brash. I'm gonna pull out that Hextech. It was there for the first game. I think it's gonna be there for this one as well.
And I will pick for the rest of us. I'm going to go with the Ocean Soul, which means you get Mountain here, Romeo.
You really made the mistake of giving it to me twice.
I sure did, but it's going to be okay.
No.
It's going to be okay, Romeo. I believe. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, folks.
I got way too many thoughts in my brain. I got memories that run through my veins. I'm not one to blame, but I could point out every way that you change. Some things stay up while others go right down the drain. And lately we've been going down in flames. But if I'm honest, I get my feels when I want you. See you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in the nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get my feels when I want you. See you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in the nirvana. But if I'm But if I'm But if I'm I'm moving on for good. At least my therapist is saying that I should. I don't believe her, but I really wish I could. Instead, I guess I'll stay misunderstood. Oh, 'cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I try but can't seem to.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Blue Otter Gold League. Moose and Romeo here at the caster desk, looking to cast this game for Literal Monkeys. Will need to win this game in order to get us some silver scrapes, in order to get us into a game 5.
Yeah, the potential reverse sweep could be coming if they're able to win this game and bring us to that game 5. If they lose, it means all 4 Demacia teams will be advancing to the quarterfinals. Piltover Pokes, of course, they lost that last game. It was looking pretty close until we got towards those last couple of team fights. But this time, we have 2 very good team comps. And I mean, they have the Xin Zhao. And you know what they say about Xin Zhao? Xin Zhao equals Win Zhao.
Is that what they say?
No, but the Xin Zhao, like, the main subreddit does. So does that, like, count for anything?
In your heart, at least. I'm happy that you feel that way. And we'll have to see if it is Win Zhao for Nikolai here, looking to bounce back after getting a little ahead of themselves in that J4 game against Zoomer. The Vi getting some good mileage, especially in the mid to late game, being able to target Lamb more often than not, which was pretty effective there. Now, of course, this is a new game. Different opportunities and a different chance for these players to be able to come through. Cactus Thief, again, is going to be on that Lux. With Pyramid Boy now in the melee versus ranged matchup as the Yone.
Yeah, and to be fair, it is, of course, like I was saying, it's a hard matchup for Yone to lose. It is melee versus range still. That does make a little bit of the early game difficult. But I just feel like if that Fates Unsealed is landing, anytime Cactus Thief doesn't have Flash, it could very easily snowball into control for Pyramid Boy.
We'll have to see if they're going to be able to do that here as Lamb, Astral, and Astro Soul and Leandra trying to get back here. We've got Naked Cowboys getting some nice damage, and Antion getting some good poke damage in against Lynira, the Cathian Rain, of course, being a bit of a pest in the early game against the Enchanter Lulu, as both teams now get that level 2. Now Zoomer going to decide to go against the going to avoid going up against the Raptors, and instead will go straight over to the red buff. Also, Nikolai not going towards the Drugs, and will lose out on a camp there as both junglers make their way towards the top side of the Rift.
Yeah, they're looking to try to impact both Shen and the Kennen lane, right? And I think that does matter big time, especially if you can get one of them ahead, because it'll make them playing for those team fights a lot more impactful, right? For like, if Kennen gets ahead, when he TPs to those team fights, it's more likely he's going to lose a lot less. Shen will be the one who has to pick up the wave after. And in fairness, Shen, although he's one of the best early game champions in that top side, he's playing that melee to the range matchup, but a big engagement here. Xin Zhao on top of that Vi.
Zoomer failing that flash against Cactus Thief in a gank as we get the flash forward from Nikolai. First blood for Nikolai. You need to land your flashes if you're gonna go for a gank like that. And you lose your flash, you lose your life, and you give your buff over to the Xin Zhao.
That was so beautiful. He connected the W, flash forward, so there's no chance at dodging it. Follows up with the charge, and just like that, Xin Zhao finding that first blood for his team, and I love to see an aggressive Nikolai. But last time, Zoomer, the second he got ahead, was so powerful, and you have to imagine if Zoomer's able to find one of those early kills, it's going to still impact this game just as heavily as last time.
Tian gonna land a Void Seeker there. It is in a little bit of advantage for Antion and Cowboys there in the bottom lane. Big John is going to be forced to flash in the top lane, but it ends up being a flash for flash as the Doran's Ring gets picked or is there for Chinese Spy along with the minion dematerializer. He's going to be able to stay in lane. He will get the advantage back, forcing the teleport out of Big John, who will pick up boots and a rejuvenating bead. Not the most threatening back here for Big John.
No, but another engagement coming between Big John and Chinese Spy. A lot of damage coming out, and I just want to go back to that. Oh, wait a minute. Xin Zhao with the gang.
Gonna be able to land the audacious charge in onto the Kaisa. Nikolai now looking to be able to get another Wind Becomes Lightning. This time it will, and Nikolai will pick up their second kill of the game against Naked Cowboys.
Xin Zhao's trying to get the W on his name. That's 2 kills. That's going to be a huge back for Nikolai. However, I just want to bring attention to that top play. Chinese Spy had Big John dead to rights, but sent the projectile the wrong direction. And I think I just want to bring, it's game 5, right? The tension here is so high for both these teams. And I think because of that, we are going to see a few plays that might go awry because of those nerves. And I think right now, Piltover Pokes, they had their game where they were able to get those nerves out, and they've come back stronger than ever in this game 4. They took their loss on the chin, and now they are trying to rise back up to close out this series.
Yeah, Big John now, just continuing to be in a bit of a disadvantageous matchup, range versus melee, similar to seeing in the mid lane here for Pyramid Boy. But the stun's going to land, and Big John's going to get hit by the Vault Breaker, and Zoomer will take that kill with an overextended Shen.
That was a last-second stun coming up, and now Zoomer has started the train. It has just left the station and is going on a round trip to getting those 9 kills once again. However, Nikolai is here. He's trying to clean up this mid lane.
Fate Seal is going to come in. Cactus Thief is low. Nice 3-pronged strike from Nikolai to pick up the kill against Pyramid Boy. Now going to try to be able to get some damage against Zoomer. Big John is not yet level 6. With Naked Cowboys in the area, they decided not to go for the bandage toss, which means it's going to be a nice kill here for Piltover. Meanwhile, Cactus Thief is playing dangerously with Chinese Spy now in the area. This could be a potential double kill for this cannon. Let's see if he's going to be able to do it. He's going to try to go for it, but the rune is going to land, and that's going to be nothing for this cannon.
That's a nice route. I'm not going to lie. I would have liked to see 19 Naked Cowboys play a little bit more aggressively when he was approaching the tower. Maybe even look for a bandage toss under the tower to try to pick up one of those kills, considering that Xin Zhao is on such a high bounty. But they ultimately decided to play safe. Whether or not that's going to matter as we go into the game, we're going to have to see. But real quick, Victorious with the 30-person raid. Shout out to Victorious here. Thank you so much for the raid. For those just joining in, this is game 4 of a best-of-5 series. Literal Monkey finished first in the Ionian division. They are taking on the 4th seeded Piltover Pokes, who are up 2-0. And if they win, they'll be the 4th team from the Demacian division to advance to the round of 8. Of course, the quarterfinals is what's going to precede this round of 16. If Literal Monkeys can survive this game, we go to Silver Scrapes.
Yeah, and right now it is pretty much an even game still. Nice bandage toss, but no level 6 yet from Naked Cowboys as Astral going to use that cleanse to get out of this one. That's going to be the Stand United as well. Lamb's going to have to get into range so the Cowboys can find the play. Going to be forcing that flash out from the Amumu there, so at least going to get something out of that one, though. Chinese Spy will get free damage onto that turret. Will get a free turret plate, may even get 2.
Yeah, now, of course, I'm not sure how I feel about that Stand United. I felt that the play was already kind of done by the time they went in, but they get a flash for it. They're going to get that inaugural Hextech Dragon for it. However, Kennen is up there murdering tower plates, and if they're able to find an early Rift Herald, if Zoomer's able to pick it up, that very well could be first turret for Chinese Spy and make teamfight so much easier, but here we go!
That's a nice utilization of that Fate Seal, but another great final spark from Cactus Thief. Huge damage. Antion and Naked Cowboys are going to go down as Big John finds the roots, and Literal Monkeys take a 4v5 play and they lose dearly because of it.
Now, I don't understand. I get it, they're kind of low. I get it, they just got Dragon. You want to get something back for it. But Kennen is upstairs abusing that turret. He is getting all the platings in the world. And instead of just saying, okay, he got 3 platings for a Dragon, let's just leave it at that. That's a ton of gold funneled into Chinese Spy. Wait for him. He's going to be a little bit accelerated. He's going to be able to bully Shen out of lane because of that. Let's just give him the plating, and the next Dragon we fight, maybe we can go punish Herald. Instead, they opt to take the 5v4. And because of that, now Piltover Pokes have so much gold inbound.
Chinese Spy going to be forced into the lane, still unable to get back. So now let's see if Big John can potentially get dove upon here with Zoomer in the area. No cease and assist, but Big John is going to go in with the taunt. That's going to be the slicing maelstrom coming in. John's going to be in trouble. John might go down here, but can he keep Chinese Spy out of this one as well? He's going to try to flash forward. Can he get the taunt? Can he finish the job? He cannot. He will get shut down. And that's going to mean the Chinese Spy will get some money there, but Nikolai is going to come in, trying to come through. Does also have the ultimate. Can he get it? Crescent Guard is there. He'll get it against Zoomer. Going to become unstoppable. Will he be able to take down Chinese Spy? Not yet. Chinese Spy is still going to wait in the area. Nikolai could try to go for it, but nope. Just going to be a 1-for-1 down there in the top lane.
It is a 1-for-1. It's a good cleanup from us. 5-0 Xin Zhao. Last time we seen Zoomer absolutely dominate the Rift for Literal Monkeys, but now it is Nikolai who is everywhere. He said, okay, you bested me last game. Let's go. I'm on my Xin Zhao, and I'm ready to roll. And right now, it feels like it's really a battle of this jungle.
But as you were alluding to there, Romeo, Chinese Spy did get a impressive back, going to almost pick up a completed Hextech Rocket Belt. As Cactus Thief going to be able to get a nice route to get away from Zoomer's potential gank. But like you were talking about, Nikolai is on fire right now. 5-0-2 on this Xin Zhao, running the show. Going to be able to get the Winds Becomes Lightning, get the route onto Zoomer as a cease and desist is going to come in. Cactus Thief going to get hit by the Fate Sealed, but just so much damage from Nikolai, dominating on the Xin Zhao.
And they're taking 2v2s when they don't have mythics. Meanwhile, Zin's already on that Gorge Ranker. It's not going to work out for them. In this top side, though, Chinese Spy using that level advantage, using that gold lead to some grid advantage. And you have to imagine how much better this lane could have been going if Shen didn't find a double kill from a very risky dragon engagement.
All right, there's Chinese Spy with an easy kill there. Slicing Maelstrom will be enough to secure that one. Meanwhile, Pyramid Boy...
Oh! What a beautiful rocket! Going to find the kill onto Pyramid Boy, making another kill there. Now, the gold lead, though, it's still very small. It's only 1.4k for... Oh, wait a minute. Nikolai, he's inbound.
Chinese Spy going to try to go for this. Nikolai is going to get stunned. Chinese Spy will be able to get out, so nothing going to happen there. 0-2-0 on Pyramid Boy. Now on this Yone, 0-0-6 for Cactus Thief on this Lux, but it's Nikolai with the almost 100% kill participation, currently 6-0-2.
It's the Demacian team with the Demacian champion in the front right now. But yeah, Lux has been playing an amazing game right now. The stuns, the roots coming out have been absolutely insane. In the last game, we've seen they know how to land some pretty crazy final sparks. And if those start getting hit this game, that could be very, very big for Piltover Pucks. Right now in the top side, they've rotated lanes. Pyramid Boy is going to be going against Big John in this top lane. I have to say, that has been one of the smartest rotations we've seen in this series thus far. Pyramid Boy, he's got the level advantage over Big John anyways. Chinese Spy has the level advantage over Cactus Thief. And on top of that, Chinese Spy got very ahead from those plating. So moving them down for this next dragon fight, for Herald fights, is such a strong maneuver for Literal Monkeys.
Chinese Spy does have that Slicing Maelstrom to come in. Big John does not yet have the Stand United available, as Pyramid Boy is going to be coming down. So this could be potentially a 5v5 in earnest. Root's going to land onto Zoomer. River control currently for Literal Monkeys.
Yeah, they do have it. And Pyramid Boy getting that little bit of engage. They're not going to commit to it. But all 5 of them now here at this Dragon. Shen going to be in that top side, trying to get some platings for himself. He doesn't have TP, but he does have Stand United for when the engagement is. Even though it's a 5v4 here, Shen is ready to ult in at any time, but will that ult come a little bit too late? Or will this Dragon even be contested? It looks like right now, there's not a whole lot of ways into this river. The bot lane has rotated back to that bot side, and it just means it's a free Chemtech Dragon for Literal Monkeys.
Ooh. And it's going to be Nikolai trying to flash in, does not find the wind, becomes lightning, going to go for the Crescent Guard, and Stand United's going to come through. Fate Sealed is there. Pyramid Boy going to be able to take down one, but it's going to be Antion trying to be able to get out of this one. Nikolai is godlike. Big damage and big kills for Piltover as Cactus Thief starts that with an amazing final spark.
You know the Wario meme where he's got his hands in front of him in the clouds and it's just like, I won, but at what cost? That's what just happened through each member of the Literal Monkeys' heads. They got the dragon, but at what cost? They have just lost a massive gold swing, and it's not just going to stop there. The T1 bot tower going to fall. The mid turret also likely going to fall into the plating's down. Herald's going to be picked up, probably rotated to the top side, going to lose the T1 top turret. Sure, they got the dragon, but it was at the cost of all map control for these future objectives.
Yeah, big gold here for Lamb, picking up 2 kills in that fight. A kill going over to Big John and Nikolai as well. A 700 gold bounty on a 7-0 and 5 Xin Zhao. A 0-0 and 10 Lux. Cactus Thief having some amazing kill participation here. You've now seen a almost 5,000 gold lead for Piltover get created. And we've entered the mid game with a solid Piltover advantage.
Yeah, it is a very solid advantage, but we're still yet to see a few items show for Literal Monkeys. Once Yeon's able to pick up that mythic, once Amumu's able to pick up that support item, it could swing into a different way. Again, they have a team comp where if they can find a good initial engagement, a good wombo combo, it doesn't really matter how ahead they are if they get one shot, right? And with Fates Unsealed, Curse the Sad Mummy, with the Vi using that cease and desist, we could still see that, but in this top lane now, Pyramid Boy looking for the engagement.
Might just die here. A lot of damage on the Cactus Thief, though, but Pyramid Boy, not quite the biggest boy right now. Nikolai will pick up the kill. We'll go legendary.
Wow, Nikolai is everywhere, man. 8-0 on that Xin Zhao. A beautiful E onto the minions, going to follow it up with the W to finish Pyramid Boy off. It was just a very clean combination from Nikolai. However, this bot lane, it's Chinese Spy versus Lamb. We very well could see Chinese Spy get in with the Slicing Maelstrom and find a kill onto Jinx if she's not too careful.
It doesn't have cleanse, it doesn't have flash. Don't know if Literal Monkeys has kept track of the summoner spells here. Maybe they have, so that they know, hey, they don't have that available, and they could potentially go for an all in there, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. The only silver lining is that the legendary player on Piltover is Nikolai on the Xin Zhao, does have the 2 items, and at this point, you're going to go for that Death Dance, and you're going to be pretty much full build there. You're thinking your Lucky Stars is not like an 0-0 and 5 Lux or an 0-0 and 5 Jinx, but hold that thought as we get a fight now in the mid lane. Cactus Thief is going to be the target of the Stand United's going to come through. Slicing Maelstrom's going to get the stun. Can Cactus Thief survive? Going to be able to get out a little bit, but not quite enough as Leandra going to go down as well. 1 kill for Lamb, though, going to be able to take down Pyramid Boy with Zoomer now low. When Becomes Lightning is not going to land, and it is a winning fight for Literal Monkeys for now, picking up 2 kills to 1.
Yeah, it is 2 kills to 1. They find the first death for Lux this game at the cost of their Yeon. The Yeon's not really worth a whole lot, so I think that's a pretty solid gold advantage, but you were talking about how Zin's close to full build. The thing with Xin is if they can find that kill, it's 1,000 gold. And the thing is, he's going to be into your team. He's going to be in the middle of the team. And one slip up from Nikolai, one bad engagement, which we did see happen a few times last game. And that's 1,000 gold onto maybe your Kaisa, maybe your Yeon, or dare I say, maybe even Zoomer picks it up and starts going as crazy as they did last game. There's still a lot of avenues to pick up a lot of gold for Literal Monkeys. And they're only 4,000 gold behind. That 1,000 gold nearly bridges the gap.
We can take a look at the gold really quick, though. I want to see what that would impact with the side of Literal Monkeys. It's only a 600 gold lead for Pyramid Boy at this point, or a 600 gold deficit against Cactus Thief at this point in the game. The big difference, though, is if you look at Lamb's gold, 7,500 comparatively, it's only 5K for Pyramid Boy. It's only 400 in the lead against Leandra, Leandra in as the Lulu there. So I'm looking to see when Pyramid Boy is going to be able to get to that Immortal Shield Bow, try to be able to get to that second item, because a Yone that's behind, I know everyone says just wait for the 0-10 Yone power spike. I don't know if we're going to have time for that or if it's going to happen here in this game. We'll have to see if that's going to be the case, because we do get a play going into the top lane. Season Assist is going to land onto John, but not really going to do too much.
Listen, the 0-10 power spike is real, but I'm feeling it now. They're going to cut it in half as they engage on Liurnia. Not going to find anything. Yone, though, I think the second they get that first item, it could change a lot. We just have to see it come out from Pyramid Boy. It's crazy how comfortable they were looking last game, and now it's back to a little bit of discomfort on that Yone, but still, I believe in the Wombo combo, and I think you have to, too, when the team is called Literal Monkeys, right? Literal Monkeys, you find combo number 1, you move to combo number 2, you hit it number 3, and you just run in like Literal Monkeys. Their comp allows them to do it. We already see them take a decent engagement mid in that more recent team fight. It's just about finding it again. And they still have a lot of time before something like Soul comes up. However, Baron is there. Baron is on the map right now to be taken, and they still don't have any real map pressure.
It's going to be a kill onto the turret there, but Chinese Spy is going to lose their life for that cause. Nikolai is getting a legendary once again, now 9-0 and 6. Got Big John going up against Pyramid Boy. I think that's a fight that Big John wins 10 out of 10 times. So at the moment, a power play here for Piltover. 20 seconds remaining until Chinese Spy comes back online. 3.5 minutes until Ocean Drake spawns, going to be available potentially for Soul Point if Piltover is able to pick it up. Baron is on the table now as well. Only one outer tower remaining for Literal Monkeys in the top lane. A mid-tier 1 tower available for Piltover to try to keep their jungle a little bit more protected, but I want to talk about the vision here in this game. A lot better vision, I think, coming in from Literal Monkeys, especially at the Baron Pit. As you can see, really trying to keep the lights on here in the jungle.
Yeah, there is certainly a lot of vision control from, honestly, I'd even argue both these teams. Like, Piltover clearly has a lot of defensive vision towards their side of the jungle. However, Literal Monkeys, they do have a couple aggressive wards that it's kind of nice to see from a team that hasn't really been able to get too much aggression in. But Pyramid Boy, oh god, that final spark like the White Death, just sniping their opponent again and again.
Yeah, gonna be able to find the kill onto Pyramid Boy. Not gonna be worth too much now, but it is still a power play here for Literal Monkeys for the next 20 seconds, as well as Flash getting taken away. So not going to have that available as we move into this next phase of the game. Outer Tower, not long for this world, as multiple members of Piltover start to just wail on it. That tower is going to go down. All outer structures obliterated for Literal Monkeys, as they still look to push forward here. Going to be able to take the Krugs a little bit more of an advantage with that power play coming in. But Pyramid Boy, now with that teleport, this is going to be a team fight in earnest. Maybe an overstay from Piltover. Nice Crescent Guard, going to separate everybody. Zoomer is going to go down first. Big John is in trouble. Cactus Thief is going to be able to get a nice stand united support from John to be able to take down Chinese Spy. Pyramid Boy cannot get the kill on a Cactus Thief. Antion will finish the job and will be killed for the cause. Now it's an 11-0. Xinjiao Nikolai on fire as they go straight towards Baron.
Yeah, Winzhao able to use their ultimate to completely disfigure everyone in that fight. And of course, you have to be honest, the hero play there was just the Shenar, right? That shield was massive. It left Cactus Thief alive long enough to use Final Spark to get out another round of their abilities. And sure, they died, but their death even costed the life of Antion after the fight was already lost. Just such a massive massive stand united to really help Piltover Pokes win that team fight. They now have Baron. They're going to tear apart the base even more. They're systematically breaking apart limb for limb the literal monkeys at the moment. They're now inside their jungle, stopping by from even getting their wolves. It's just slowly getting more and more difficult for literal monkeys to do anything. With 30 seconds to Dragon, you have to question what venues they're going to be looking for to try to come back in this game.
And at this point, you can't really even go for the dragon. You just want to try to get as much gold as possible. So in 5 minutes, when you do have to go for a potential soul fight, you are as strong as you can be. Baron's still available for another 2 minutes here for Piltover. They have not fully reset yet because they're going to go towards that dragon, so they're going to lose out on a little bit of that power that the Baron provides. Will allow for Pyramid Boy to push out the top lane, will allow for the rest of Literal Monkeys to clear out into the mid lane. They're having Big John push down into the bottom lane, going to have that lane now be very far forward, maybe even going to be able to pressure that inner tower. Soul Point's now going to be unlocked for Piltover, and they have increased their gold lead to about almost 9,000 at this point, 8,000 at this point.
Yeah, it's really nearing that really difficult to come back from 10,000 gold. Now, of course, the objective bounties are on the map for the literal monkeys to try and claim. They need to try to grab some of those if they can. They have about 4 minutes and 30 seconds to get as much gold as they can before they're risking that Ocean Soul. Now, if that Ocean Soul comes out, you know they're going to need to pick up some heal cut. But in fairness, I don't know if Ocean Soul's the scariest soul for them to lose. Of course, it is a little bit counterable from items. And with the way their team plays, it's not like they're not initially trying to burst their team anyways.
A much more aggressive, much more premium build here for Lamb on this game. 4-0 and 5, Kraken Slayer and Infinity Edge, first 2 items. Also going to pay that CC tax by getting the Quicksilver Sash. Not even going to talk about Nikolai going down. It's just an easy kill there. And another kill for Piltover as Literal Monkeys go too far outside their base and get punished for it. Piltover now with a 2-person power play at the 26-minute mark. 18 seconds remaining on Baron. A 12-0 and 8 Xin Zhao. They will take the inhibitor in the top lane. They will take the inhibitor potentially in the mid lane, and they're looking to close.
Yeah, they're looking to end it all with Nikolai at the front. The Demacian champion looking to get that 4th team in the Demacian division to the quarterfinals. They are going to pull out here, though. They are exiting the base for now. They got 2 options, really. They can back with some of their gold, or they can run bot lane. Their Baron is down. If they back, spend some gold, and send 5 to that bot lane, they're going to try to get that last inhib, triple inhib, and at the same time, when that dragon spawns, they're ready to claim that soul. And before they leave, Nikolai is like, look, just in case they want to walk into their jungle, let's clear out the rest of these camps. Let's make sure they have no avenues. I know we were talking about him going for Death Dance. He did pick up the Bork, which is a really nice pickup when you're this far ahead of Xin Zhao. It's why he's been able to delete so many of these champions across this game. And now Chinese Spy trying to step up to him, and I can tell right now, not a good idea.
Yeah, not a good idea. I mean, you're still just continuously fed. Like, you're very fed at this point. Like you said, 3 items. It doesn't matter what champion you're on. A 3-item champion is definitely going to be a menace, especially at the 27-minute mark when nobody else has 3 items on the Rift. And you even have more than 3 items now. You are just a stopwatch away from being able to get that Guardian Angel, which, you know, we got to talk about that again. Deciding not to go for the stopwatch here, instead going for the offensive pressure of the BF sword, does lose out on the power of that stopwatch, unfortunately, which maybe makes the difference in another fight. I don't know if it's going to make the difference here, but still just something to think about as we move towards the quarterfinals and semifinals.
Yeah, now in fairness, I think it's a little bit more forgivable on the Xin Zhao, because really, he's only stopped watching, maybe Slicing Maelstrom and the Cease and Desist. I feel like if he has to pull that stopwatch, he really needs his team to clean up, or he's going to die. However, I do think it's still probably worth the pickup, just because you're sitting on that 1,000 gold. You want to stop them from getting that bounty any way possible, right? 1,000 gold injection to any champ can still be game-changing, despite the scenario we are in the game. However, right now, we see Shen is in that top lane trying to help those super minions push. 4 members in this bot lane They're going to be getting this T2 turret with ease. They're walking towards that dragon to try to claim Ocean Soul now. Maybe going to look for a pick in some of these bushes. And I have to ask you, what does Literal Monkeys need to do to be able to get to this dragon? Do you think they just go for the steal with Zoomer? Or do you think they say, screw it, we need to pull the trigger before we bleed to death?
Pray. You need to pray that you find a pick onto somebody here, potentially in the jungle. Unfortunately, they're not really postured for that right now. If they wanted any chance of going in for a Dragon Soul, they needed to find a good brush and maybe just try to go for a Death Brush play, get Cactus Thief or Lamb off guard and pick up a kill to make it a 4v5. Unfortunately, their base is just too much in shamble. Their lineup doesn't have a lot of clear. Maybe Antion, Pyramid Boy, now with that Infinity Edge, could potentially clear out some of these minions, but you don't have somebody with a big wave clear, like a Lux, for example, that could potentially clear out an entire wave with just one combo. So you're still seeing minion waves pushed up towards the nexus of Literal Monkeys. Super minions are at that nexus tower right now, gonna force Pyramid Boy back to the base. They do have teleport to potentially go up against a Baron that is also available. Because of all the pressure that the Super Minions are providing, Literal Monkeys have to forfeit that Ocean Drake. And now, the next big neutral objective going to be that Baron coming up and available for the taking.
Yeah, Soul, Baron, and you Literal Monkeys, once again, not contesting it. Maybe they throw a Void Seeker, but that's really going to be about it. I don't even think they'll be able to step up to it. So now is where it's do or die. You know they're running straight to the base of Literal Monkeys. Their split is single-handedly determined by this fight. Will the 4th seeded team in Demacia be able to dethrone the #1 seed in Ionia, or will the Literal Monkeys hang on? We are about to witness what could be the final stand as they approach the base. They are inside with the Super Minions.
Yeah, Baron up minions going to come through. It's going to be up to whether or not Naked Cowboys can find a big Curse of the Sad Mummy. Does get it onto 2 as it sees this is going to come in, trying to be able to get the damage to go down. The final spark misses. They'll get the shutdown on the Lamb. They'll get the kill on Leonra. They do get one. Nikolai's going to be able to respawn with that Guardian Angel. They're still alive. Cactus Thief is still alive. And Nikolai, with that Guardian Angel, survives. The wallet is just too big for Piltover Poke. They'll get the triple kill for Big John. They'll get the ace. They'll get the win. They'll get the series win. And they will eliminate the top-seeded team and will become a quarterfinal contender.
And how fitting is it in the final team fight of the game that brings them to quarterfinals? It's the Xin Zhao from Demacia, who goes 13-0-11. They dethrone the Kings of Ionia. What a shocking upset. You go from the 4th seeded team taking on the #1 seeded team from a different group. And now, with them picking up that victory, all 4 teams in Demacia go. I heard that the persons who overthrew Chuck Norris were from Demacia.
I don't know about that one. I think Chuck Norris was already gone before Demacia was founded, but either way, it just goes to show you that in the regular season, just because you might have had a bad regular season, maybe you fell short in your regular season games, you can still push forward. And once again, the lesson here is that not every division is created equal. There's always going to be that sleeper division in a league, and this time it was the Demacia division coming in strong in the quarterfinals, having all 4 qualifying teams make it into that next round, that round of 8. Very impressive performance there. Really, really nicely done from the side of Piltover Pokes. Still, shout out to Literal Monkeys, going to be able to make it into the quarterfinals. They will unfortunately be eliminated here in a 3-1 fashion, but still having a great regular season and, you know, putting up a fight here in this round of 12 matchup.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They had one of the best seasons out of any team in this league. And it's a little bit heartbreaking to see the Literal Monkeys fall so early on in these playoffs. They were a very outstanding team. They had a very fun vibe to them. I know when we got to interview some of the players, it was nice to see it. but now they are ultimately going to go down. And now you have to question what this means going forward. But I think one thing these games shown was just how much of a threat Piltover Pokes are going to be moving forward throughout this playoff series. It's going to be really interesting to see how far they're able to go and maybe if they can even win it all. But let me ask you, who was your MVP for the series on Piltover Pokes?
Man, that's a tough one. I gotta give it to Cactus Thief there in the mid lane, having really solid Nico game in game 2 and helping seal the deal there in game 3 or in game 4 with those final sparks. I have to assume that they played consistently in the game that we did not cast. So I have to give it to them for their consistent, effective play in the mid lane.
Yeah, and let us know in chat, by the way, who you guys think was the player of the game for Piltover Pokes. Personally, I'm a big fan of Nikolai. I think Nikolai played all 3 games pretty phenomenally. I think that last game was absolutely his showing. I think it's also perfectly valid to throw it at the mid laner. Now, I need to ask you, going into these next round of playoffs, is there any matchup specifically you're excited to see here going into the quarterfinals?
Uh, I I personally do not think that the quarterfinal matchups are, where we need to be watching in terms of like, oh, there's going to be I'm guaranteeing that this game is going to be an amazing series because in a lot of quarterfinal series there are still a lot of 3-0s that happen. There are still a lot of stomps that are coming through. I'm more looking to see who's going to be able to get out of the quarterfinals and make it into the round of 4. That's when everything starts to really come together. Those are the fights that are going to be really, really good here. And, this guarantees that a member of the Demacia division is going to make it into the semifinals matchup. Could also guarantee potentially that a Demacia rep makes it into the grand finals. So really excited to see what that means here as we move forward into the playoff bracket. I always love playoffs in League of Legends because anything can happen. We get to listen to Silver Scrapes once again. It's always fun. But with that being said, that is going to do it, I believe, here for today's cast. Want to give a quick shout out again to Pop Tart, our producer, being there behind the scenes, making sure that things are running smoothly, making sure that we don't have any technical issues on the back end. So we really appreciate you there. Our Twitters, myself and Romeo's Twitters, are going to be seen on our next to our faces. You can follow us. Follow us, please. Always could use the extra support. And of course, follow, subscribe, join the Blue Otter League Discord, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch to stay up to date on all of the following content that is coming through. On behalf of all the players, the coordinators, the staff here at Blue Otter League, Romeo, Pop-Tart, and myself, this has been your coverage of the Blue Otter League round of 12 gold playoffs. We'll see you guys next week for the quarterfinals. Take care.
Cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I try but can't seem to slow down. I don't know if I want to. Cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I try but can't seem to slow